Ooh, tonight on the podcast, we are talking about the Super Mario trailer, Christian Bale being typecast, the Wakanda Forever 2 trailer, no Spider-Man 4. What? Ryan Reynolds nervous about Deadpool? We got all that, plus our reviews of She-Hulk, Andor, Werewolf by Night, and it feels like every single TV show that came out this week. Let's hit it. It is Friday night in Phoenix. You're listening to the best damn podcast in all the land, the Absolute Geek Podcast. I'm Matt.
I am Lance.
And that's Ish's empty chair. And,
tonight hey, didn't Clint Eastwood do a talk about that?
Yes. Ish has got to give a pep talk to his hot dogs before he eats them and let him know that it's nothing personal, but he's hungry as he comes rushing back in. And tonight we got a special guest with us, trying out for Max's spot because we don't hold spots very long here. We got JP in the house. Welcome, JP. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Everybody.
JP has a phenomenal backdrop there. Something I think Ish is maybe rolling over. Some beautiful fucking comics there.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I gotta say this is weird, man. This is my first show back since Max is gone. And I don't feel like I do a lot without Max. So this is weird. This is a weird dynamic.
Separation anxiety episode.
I know, man. We're going through a trial separation, I guess.
It's a medication for it.
You're right.
And the chat's already up and going. We got Stick Boy saying that he's ready to ribbit and rip it. Joe's Doolin's confused how She-Hulk passed the bar and wants to know if the University of Phoenix has a law school. Pretty sure that's where Jen got her degree at. Your mom says, "Sup, sluts." And
wow, she's coming in hot, man.
Yeah.
Your mom on a Friday night, there's no stopping her.
I feel like
until she passes out halfway through the episode.
I feel like Jen Walters got her law degree from the same place Kim Kardashian did.
She doctored from where Taylor Swift did too. So
yeah,
dude, she was started off in the first episode of District Attorney.
Yeah, How the Mighty Have Fallen.
Yeah, exactly. Like it makes no sense at all.
The not so incredible She-Hulk
for a show called Attorney at Law that seems to have no understanding of attorneys or law.
Well, this episode was good, so we can say the lawyer thing came back with. No spoilers, but it came back. The lawyer thing was good this week, so
yeah, well, it felt a little bit more legal.
Finally,
yeah.
It's not only is she just getting shown up in her own show now, she's got out lawyered in her own show too, so it's all good. What are you gonna do? But we'll talk about that more.
Hey, I guess there's something to be said for seeing a lawyer fuck another lawyer instead of their clients.
Yeah, how many does it take to change a light bulb, right?
That's funny.
Do you think they spoke to each other in lawyer terminology while they were doing it?
Like, give me the debrief.
Signed affidavits and stuff.
Yeah. I think he tried to go backdoor and she was like overruled. She was like objection and he was like overruled.
You're not in order. Oh man.
Stick Boy says they were exchanging briefs. Very good.
Oh man, she took on a big caseload.
Nice.
Ba-dum-bum. We need that sound effect, Matt. Ba-dum-bum.
Look, listen. You don't need to tell me what to do, all right?
Yeah. I thought we were fucking partners, bro. There we go.
But yeah, well, so as everyone knows, Max decided to leave the show last week, so we put a call out to anyone who wanted to join, hit us up on Instagram, and JP did that, so we're glad he did. JP, why don't you go ahead and tell, you're coming to us from the audio side of the podcast, which is really cool too. don't you go ahead and tell the listeners a little bit about you? What got you into comics? What got you? I know, according to your Instagram, you left and came back into comics. So, what kind of brought you back in? And just give us a little brief history about your experience with this community and what you enjoy about it.
Okay. Well, I'm glad you guys had me on the show. I've been listening to you guys for a couple months. Basically got back into the community this year. Not during the whole COVID boom. I just basically, to make a long story short, I went into a comic shop after 20 years of not being in a comic shop and was just like in awe again of all the stuff on the walls and said, geez, I got to get back into this. I went and got my box of comics. I started going through them, started going on Instagram, listening to podcasts, and then here I am today with you guys. But I cut my teeth in the 90s when that boom happened. 8th grade, 9th grade, Rob Liefeld, McFarland, Ron Lim, that whole Infinity Gauntlet, all that stuff from the 90s was what I knew. And when college started and the girls were there, I stopped checking comics out anymore. So went away from it. You get married, you got kids, and then life happens. And then, like I said, at the end of COVID here, when I was able to get back out and see real people again, got our vaccines, whatever, go out, hit the comic shop because there's nothing to do on a Tuesday night. And you see all this stuff on the wall that I had as a kid that, was got, 4 figures on it that they're selling it for now. And then and talking to the guy about, I always watched the movies. I had seen all the movies throughout the whole last 20 years. I saw every Incredible Hulk with Eric Bana. I saw it with, Christian Bale, Batman. I saw them all. And then I'm hearing these stories about which comics were hot and why they were hot because of speculation. And I thought, wow, this is pretty cool. I remember doing this in the 90s with trying to get that first X-Force 1 or X-Men 1. And here we are doing it again. And it was fun again. And I almost 24/7, it's comics. And as nerdy as my wife or kids say, I am now. It's just something that I really enjoyed over the past 6-8 months. It's reminding me again of being a kid. So can't beat it.
So it's more like it's been a long time. You've been married, had a couple kids, and you're like, all right, it's time for me to just let that nerd out of the closet. And so you slide that box out, and she's like, where was that at? Where did that come from?
Yep.
You're like, don't worry about it.
Have that?
You start putting them up everywhere. Don't worry about it.
Well, I had a suitcase full of Star Wars stuff, and they weren't anything vintage. I did have a Boba Fett that I had found when episode 1 had come back out. I went to Toys R Us. It was on the shelf. I grabbed it. And I had a bunch of things that were sealed in boxes, sealed in the containers. And my 2-year-old at the time found that suitcase and said, I'm going to help Daddy out. I'm going to open up all his toys. And he cut them all open. And so they were still, he didn't ruin any of them, but they were no longer mint, as we'll call it. So I never opened up that suitcase again. But when this came back in and I got back into it again, I went and got that suitcase, got my old comics, still had them. They hadn't touched them or messed with them yet. They lasted 40 years or however long, 20 years, excuse me. So, just started putting stuff up on the walls, redoing an old room. And, here we are today. Got a little shop in the basement here. So
it looks awesome, man. I mean, we're all envious of it. I mean, nothing beats Ish's painting from a 19th century church, but but
that's a Hungarian river depiction.
Is it Hungarian because you're a hungry man and you're sitting in front of it?
Dude, I was looking for a path to that and I couldn't find it.
I saw the wheels turning.
The wheels were turning.
What was that sound effect that we needed again?
No, it's more like this.
Yeah,
because I saw the wheels turn and I was like, Lance is gonna hit this stupid joke. I might as well just get there first.
I'm like, how do I connect this? Something about tuna boats.
Hey JP, what part of the country you in?
I am in the northwest PA, so Pennsylvania, northeast, but the northwest side of that state.
He's in Amish country.
Okay. Yep.
So are you a Wednesday warrior? You go in the shop every Wednesday? Are you a digger, or are you just kind of?
I'm a digger. I'm a digger. I don't have an LCS that close to me. That one I mentioned I went to, it's not that close, but there's only one of them there. And, I don't know what it was. I like going to that store, but he wasn't always open. It was hard to find when his hours were because COVID changed a bunch of that. So I found a couple local antique stores, and I found stuff. Like I found rare items, and then I got a booklet of all the antique stores in the whole state, or at least my side of the state, and I started hitting as many of them as I could because with my job I travel. So anytime I saw an antique store, I would make a beeline for it, and I found all kind of stuff. Nothing like a funny story, just a quick quip. I was listening to a YouTube channel, might have been Comic Tom or Gem Mint or somebody, and they had mentioned that this 1939, I think it was 39, World Fair book that had Superman on the cover and Sandman, and Superman had blonde hair. You guys ever see that book at all or heard of that World Fair book?
No.
So it's pretty rare. You find it's worth a couple $100,000. So I'm at a local flea market, not a couple miles, about 20 minutes away from me. And inside the display case is that World Fair book. And I went, get the hell out of here. $25. They don't know what they have here. I take it out and I was like shaking because I thought I just found like this rare item.
Holy Grail.
It was a reprint. It was a reprint from 74, but again, I didn't know enough of it at the time to know what to look for until I actually got it out of the plastic and saw that. But just that excitement from maybe finding something like that just drove me to find any other antique store, flea market, and just dig. And I found some cool stuff over the past 6 to 8 months. It's more fun to go there for me than the local LCS because they've already picked through most of that. Sometimes you get lucky if a She-Hulk trailer or She-Hulk show drops somebody like Leapfrog or whatever. But for the most part, you can find deals in antique stores, in my opinion, more so than a flea or a LCS.
Yeah.
Nice.
Unless you're Fantastic Worlds Comics.
Exactly.
You can't find anything there. That store is already cherry picked.
But
Shameless plug.
I mean, it depends how many long boxes you have. I mean, that type of stuff helps out. The one up near me is just, it's pitiful. It's stuff on the wall. It's nice stuff, but nothing in the long boxes. It doesn't have very much of that. But I could pick through that most of the time. Spend all day.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's just camouflage. He floats around these YouTube circles so that way he can memorize who's in them, and then he's like, all right, when he sees you come in the shop, he's like, I need to check eBay prices on whatever you're buying because it's obviously going for a lot of money. So no, I'm just kidding. They don't do that. But.
No, Ish's store is really cool. So we have a lot of comic book shops here in Arizona, but Ish's store, Bill buys some like nice books, man. Like Matt, you've been to a store, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they just have these glass displays, I guess you call it. Just full of these golden age books, man. It's just beautiful, beautiful store. I don't know if you're going to find any grails in the long boxes because Bill and Ish probably know what they have, right, Ish?
Right.
Well,
you guys know what you have.
Super low grade.
Yeah. But
right.
Some beautiful books, man. Like nobody in the state can even match some of the stuff that Ish and Bill have got over there at Fantastic Worlds.
Yeah, that's what we wish we had around
Thanks,
here.
guys. I appreciate that.
Yeah, and it's getting harder too to back issue dive and dollar bin dive and dig out here because COVID brought a lot of people like yourself out of the woodworks where they just got back into comics and started buying on eBay and digging and all that, and it's like next to impossible here now to find anything reasonably priced in most shops. So it's a hard game to play. I've never thought about checking antique stores though. We have, I don't know if you have them out there, but we have Bookman's, like secondhand bookstore, and you can find a lot of comics out there. But I've never thought about antique stores.
We've got Buffalo Exchange.
Matt, I'll tell you about one off the air.
Okay. No, are you talking about?
Ish doesn't want to burn his spot.
Yeah, I don't want. I won't. I was about to say it, and I was like, "Oh, a bunch of people might go," and it's like a little.
Yeah, he doesn't want to burn his spot.
But I think you're talking about Brass.
Shout out to Eric Williamson.
Oh yeah, that's the one I'm talking about.
Yeah, I said airport shout out. Yeah, speaking of Eric Williamson, shout out to Eric. Sent us a copy of his book to check out. So I just
what
got
the fuck,
today,
Eric? Where's my copy of your book?
Don't worry.
Hey, you got to come to Fantastic Worlds Comics to get your copy. We've actually sold quite a few. It was It's pretty cool to see.
All right, man. Can you just put one off to the side for me? I'll just come pick it up next month.
Why do you
get
need
a
to pick it up?
signed one? I'll get a signed
it
one
right
for
here.
you, Lance.
Oh my gosh, it's like make me cream myself.
Oh.
Yeah. So no, but it's cool because you said you're right on the border of New York, right? You were saying, JP.
Yep.
So one of the cons I've always wanted to go to was that New York Comic Con.
That's
Have you
going
ever
on
been?
right now.
The one going on now.
Yeah, man. That Comic Con looks like to be one of the best ones in the country. Like I really want to go to that one.
Yeah, I heard. I've never made it to that one yet. Like I said, just got back into it. Most of the shows I've been to have been pretty small. Steel City Con in Pittsburgh, and then a couple in Buffalo. But I know New York City's going on now, and that's going to be pretty big. Probably bigger than San Diego, from what I gather.
Yeah, there's a few. I want to go to Salt Lake. I hear that one's awesome. New York, San Diego, which I'm hoping to go next year, and then is it Austin? Matt is the other big one. Which one's the one in Texas that's pretty big?
I don't know. I don't think there is one in Texas that's pretty big.
I thought there was a decent sized one in Texas.
There's
Like, if
South
you
by
look-
Southwest, but that's not a
That's a
Comic-Con.
music. That's a music
music
thing,
and
right?
movie and like stuff like that.
Looks like
Well, Lance, what about Scottsdale Comic Con? Are you going to that?
When is that? Is that the one
November
that
19th.
is that the one that
Old Man Con Part 5.
November 19th?
November
That's a
probably
con
make
you
it.
go to if your wallet wants to cry.
Oh yeah. I've been to Old Man
Manos
Con
calls it the
before.
Wallet Eviscerator.
You should,
That's
yeah,
not-
you should just call that con priced out of your budget con.
That's not the one that Ken puts on, right?
No, that's
What's
Bill.
the one that
that's-
Ken puts on?
Ken doesn't do one anymore.
He doesn't do that one anymore?
No, what are
that's
you
a
talking
bummer.
about? I don't think he's ever done a con.
Yeah, the one that's like at the library or something where we did
No,
that.
that's just the new comic book day stuff.
Oh, remember we had that mega cast?
Yeah, that was new comic day, or not new comic, free comic book day.
But there's like vendors and stuff at it. It's small. Like it's
It's
really
like a
small,
swap? Like a comic swap.
but, it's kind of like a really small vendor hall.
Okay.
For,
Well, so it's like the first Saturday in May, the comic shops get together and they do free comic book day where they get a bunch of books from, different comic books that the companies are giving out for free, and they make an event. So they have like vendors and stuff like that there that you can go and get free comics and for the kids and vendors and artists.
but I picked
and
up some really good art from there.
stuff like that.
That's what I usually go to the cons for, is to pick up art or Funkos.
Nah, Sticks Dallas is still really small too. Like
I thought there was a
Salt
big
Lake
one in
City. Salt Lake City's big, New York Comic Con, San Diego. I think those are like the biggest.
WonderCon is not bad,
And
right?
then Emerald City's getting there. WonderCon is not quite up there. I mean, it's bigger, but it's not quite. I wouldn't say it's quite up there yet. Would you, Ish?
Which one?
But WonderCon. But WonderCon and San Diego are.
I don't know. I was going to say WonderCon. It's pretty big now,
I thought
but
it
I don't know
was.
how much it is on the comic book side versus just the Hollywood.
Yeah, the last one I
Stuff.
was at, it was 10 vendors and the rest are all various items. So I don't know if you guys, a bigger show, what that would even be like if it's just too much chaos.
As far as like trying to.
Like if you're looking for specific books, if you're just there to, see the celebrities, the what they call them, the who's Nerdy Girl and that group, they're considered the
The Whatnotters.
yeah.
I'm glad
They
you
might
know
be
about
there,
Nerdy
so you
Girl.
see them, just some, we'll call them the Whatnotters.
Influencers.
That's it, influencers. And then you got your celebrities there for signings and stuff. But it would be hard to make a good deal at a Comic-Con that big if you're looking for something specific. Sure, it's a good time. Like the last one I was at, they were serving beer and they had comics, and I thought this was great.
Yeah.
Those are two
Like
things
San
that should be
Diego.
together.
San Diego is pretty easy because you can pretty much find anything you're looking for at San Diego because that's the mecca. That's like, I know like New York is getting up there, but when you think of like the con of all cons, it's San Diego. So like you can pretty much find anything you're looking for at San Diego. But if you're like, I'm just gonna go dollar bin dive there, or digging, that it's so hectic with people that's not even worth. Like if you know what you're looking for, like if you're like, I want this specific book, you can, like I said, you can find it real easily. You just ask the guy at the booth, hey, do you have this? Yeah. Oh yeah. And no problems. But if you're just like, oh, I'm just gonna go dig and see what I find, it's a nightmare.
You know what's funny is
the
I'm
thing
looking
with-
at. Oh, I was just about to say real quick. I'm looking at this article right here. I don't know when this was published, but it says the top 5 Comic-Con events by attendance, and New York Comic-Con is number 1. 250,000. San Diego had 167,000.
When?
That's a big difference.
Wow.
There's
Remember
a
when
4-year difference
Phoenix-
between these. There's these 4-year difference between these two numbers that they're giving me. 2019 for New York was 250,000. 2015 for San Diego was
Well, I think
167.
you're also got to think keep in mind of how many people the building can hold, because they cap out the convention center in San Diego. So
yeah.
Number
Number 3
was
is
changed to
New York.
Fan Fusion. Phoenix Comic Con back like 2014, 2015 was
I
doing
think
like
their highest was like
95,000.
95. Yeah, their highest was like 95, 98.
That was like putting them in the top 10 in the country. But
yeah, now
I was
he's
gonna say with
putting them in
the
the
dollar
toilet.
bin diving, if you're a vendor at San Diego Comic Con, you're paying $5,000, $10,000, $20,000 for your booth.
Yeah.
You're not going to want to spend the time, energy, and space lugging quarter books or dollar books.
No.
Yeah, you're bringing the high dollar
Like,
stuff.
that just doesn't make sense. Why would I spend that much on a booth, and then for people to just spend $5 here, $10 there, digging through dollar bins? Like that's kind of a loss. But I guess it depends on how much you're paying for your booth, what your inventory is. But
Stick
we
boy
would-
coming
we
in
would
hot
never
with
take-
the barge.
we barely take stuff from our long boxes. We just do the walls and the glass case, and that is like, and then already we're out of space.
Joe's
So-
Doolin says, I want to dig for books, not push through thousands of people with no muscle definition dressed as Hulk.
I know when we went to Tucson Comic-Con, Jay was really pleased with some of the books he was able to find at Tucson. But Tucson probably
Tucson
doesn't
one's
cost as much
underrated.
or better. But Tucson one is Tucson one
That's
kicks
an underrated,
Phoenix's
very
ass,
underrated
in my
Comic-Con.
opinion. I love
You can have
Tucson
a lot of
Con.
fun that weekend there. Yeah.
Well, I think the problem with Tucson is it's outgrown
in
its
Tucson?
space. Well, not just okay. That's two things. It's in Tucson, and one, it's outgrown its space, so they need to move to a bigger space.
I love Tucson Con. I mean, the vendor choices are better than Phoenix. Like the guys that run, we're probably going to lose no, they didn't give us press badges this year, so fuck them. They suck. The guys that run Phoenix, they said podcasts were not press, so we didn't get press badges. Even though we've been getting them for 6 years now, it feels like. But yeah, no, those guys are just running that thing into the ground, man. Like, but Tucson, I like Tucson. I try to make an effort to go to Tucson every year. You can find some good shit at Tucson. Well, JP, if you're ever down out west, you got a few assignments. Check out some of the cons out here.
Oh yeah.
And,
this is like the desert of cons out here. There's, like I said, Pittsburgh and maybe Buffalo, but New York City's probably 500 miles away.
oh, really?
So you're flying. It's a weekend trip, which would be well worth it. But I'd love to hit San Diego or some of the other ones you guys are talking about. I think someone mentioned Baltimore. I heard that's a big show too.
Yeah, Baltimore is
there.
a pretty good show too. Yeah.
We had an opportunity before Absolute Geek to go to Baltimore because one of our contacts at Phoenix, who is aside from the shit talking I was spewing earlier, he was doing something with Baltimore, or the company that runs the Phoenix one was doing something in Baltimore at one point. It might be a totally different con. I don't remember, but I don't know. I'd love to go on a con crawl, I guess you could call it.
Yeah.
Spend a
Joe's
whole year just
doing-
going to a bunch of different cons.
It's telling you to go to Edie's in Pittsburgh.
Is that LCS?
Yeah, I know where that's at. I was just actually when I started back into the comic books after that was one of the first stores I went to was Ides, and that was the basement was just full of graded books, awesome books, and I almost spent $600 on a Secret Wars #1. I think it was a 9.6 or 9.8, and luckily I walked away and didn't spend that on it. Not that it wasn't worth that, but I could have bought anything in that building. He had a ton. So yeah, Ides is a great store.
How many of those you got laying around? A couple hundred. Probably use them as toilet paper at your store, huh?
I used to wipe my mouth.
Yeah. He's gonna wipe the wing sauce off your mouth.
Yeah,
from
the
House of
grape
Wings.
pawn off his chin.
I give it to this. Give it to the toddler as a distraction. Let him play with it.
He uses it as a tip when he goes out to eat.
He's like, here, treat yourself to something nice.
Dude, I got tipped by a customer. This was maybe 2 years ago. He fucking tipped me an Iron Man #1.
What?
Yeah,
That's a good tip.
Why
And Bill said, "You're on the clock. That's mine." Bill said, "Did you punch out? Oh, that's mine."
Yeah.
How do you get a tip like that?
This guy was he was crazy. He had a crazy collection. He spent crazy money at our store buying our books. He would come in with like a backpack just full of like insane Silver Age, Golden Age keys, sometimes make a trade, sometimes not. And then just, one day, just on his way out, he reached in his backpack. He's like, you know what? So it was a 3.0. So for him, an Iron Man #1 3.0 was literally, like toilet paper. He was like, you know what? Have this. Yeah. So he's like, do you have this? I'm like, no. He's like, it's yours. Take it.
Oh, that's
Zaggy said he probably tickled his pickle. You guys touched tummies, didn't you, Ish? That's what it was.
You do some favors over there at Ide's basement.
Give him a little belly rub, inner thigh massage.
That honestly, JP says, I walked into their basement and I was expecting the most crude
boutique.
thing. Full service.
Well, I tell you, it was early on in COVID, and I said to the guys when I walked in the store, I said, do I need to wear a mask or something? Because they all were wearing masks. And the guy said, he said, you see what kind of people come in here? I wouldn't come in here without a mask on. He said, see our owner? He's in that vase right there. We cremated his body. I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm like, where's your comics at? They're like downstairs. I'm like, all right, man. And I just didn't touch anything. I just was like grabbing stuff out, looking at it like, am I going to die because there's
brought in your latex gloves? You walk down the basement. They shut the door. Some guy behind you just shut the door behind him.
Bring out the gimp, I guess. Right?
And there's just a table with a ball gag.
It puts the lotion on the skin.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a different world down that basement, but upstairs they were a little scary.
That's awesome. It puts the lotion on the skin. I need to watch that movie again.
He just turns around and it's just the most pasty white person, just scared out of his mind, standing in the corner looking at a book still.
So in Arizona, we don't have
sun in 27 years. What?
We don't get basements in Arizona, so we don't have scary basements.
You have them, but you got to go East Valley. I don't think they really have them West Valley.
Drawn to Comics has a basement.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, we've got them in the east side. We got them over where I'm at. Not all the houses, but Max's parents' house had a huge basement. My first house had a basement. The first house Anna and I lived in. It just depends on where you're at. The ground is softer over here than it is on the west side.
Yeah, that's the whole thing about. It's all about the ground.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, but what do you say we get into some?
It has a basement. It's called Welcome to Dahmerville.
Dude, that show's fucking nuts.
He just doesn't want you to know about it because he doesn't want people to catch him.
It's my flavor town.
Yeah.
Have you guys been watching that shit? The Netflix thing?
I've watched like the first 3 episodes.
I haven't started it yet.
That shit's fucked up. That's fucked up. Anna's addicted to it.
Nick's boy says there's a comic shop in the basement of the Alamo.
Really? Like in Texas? Like
that
Alamo?
Need to fact check that. Fact
no,
check on
the
that.
Alamo in Philadelphia.
Yeah,
like
Alamo.
Remember the Alamo? That's what he's talking about.
What other Alamo is there?
We have Alamo. We have Alamo.
He even wrote it in big caps to let you know it's the Alamo. Big caps Alamo.
I think he would have followed it with Draft House. If that was
the one that's like a red. Is it a red brick building?
Oh, there's a few of them. I think it's a movie theater
right next to your brick oven Pizza Huts.
Fuck you.
There's a brick oven Pizza Hut in the comic store in the basement of the Alamo.
Had everything.
Adobe,
like Alamo rental car. All right, yeah, let's go ahead and get into some geek news here. If I can find there it is.
had your fix today?
And Ish left. It must be dinner time.
Tuna boat.
Yeah. Following the release of the first poster and now trailer of the upcoming Super Mario Brothers animated film, fans are insisting that Mario's butt is too flat. This world, man. The first poster of the movie features Mario gazing across the Mushroom Kingdom. However, fans were quick to point out something felt off when everyone's favorite plumber. Multiple fans took to Twitter to complain about the size of Mario's butt.
Well, you gotta think. So, Imagination, who created this movie, saw all the backlash that She-Hulk was getting, and decided to take the complete opposite route. Take away what'd you call it?
Dummy
She-Hulk?
thick.
Dummy thick. So they went complete opposite of dummy thick. I don't see anything wrong. It looks like my backside. So I think it's
Why are people looking at Mario's ass?
Dude, Mario bounces on blocks for a living. He's got a thick ass, dude.
Chose Doolin says, not eating enough of gabagool. Not eating enough of the gabagool. Yeah, why? I just put this in there because I was like, this is absolutely insane that you're complaining about the size of a character's butt.
Do you know that there's a whole bunch of... So I didn't know this before this little... Because I saw this all over Twitter. There's a whole community that creates fan like scenes of Mario, of him just backing that shit up. Like people just fan created like little clips and stuff of Mario with just like She-Hulk level dummy thick ass.
Well, you know,
fucking
I don't.
stupid.
When I play
I'm glad
Mario,
I've never
I'm
seen
usually
those videos.
when I play
That's
Mario, I'm usually drowning in profanities because I keep dying or
From a mushroom.
or I keep just get a mushroom and then get hit and lose my growth, or busy hitting one and it's going the opposite direction where I'm going and I can't get it. And so, like I said, I'm usually drowning in profanities. I'm not paying attention to the size of Mario's ass, but maybe I need to start.
You're not
doing
even
that.
middle age yet, dude. You shouldn't be losing your growth that easily.
That's what Cialis is for, right?
Yeah, I didn't even notice.
Who is your mom talking to? Who's Max?
I have no idea.
Same, Max.
I think
Same. I don't know.
Is she watching last week's episode or 2 weeks ago episode? I'm just giving her shit. I love your mom.
Zaggy, LOL, growth. Yeah, I don't know, but I like the trailer. I put this in here because I want to hear your opinion on Chris Pratt's Mario voice.
I think he's very selective. So it makes more sense after I saw it, but because they're kind of going for more of that Brooklyn accent that he had in the old cartoon. You remember that cartoon from like the 90s?
Yeah.
But when he's speaking, he seems kind of like Harley Quinn, like real selective on when they're going to use that Brooklyn accent. It sounds like Chris Pratt. It was just kind of a little jarring to hear that.
At first, it sounds exactly like Chris Pratt, and then you hear the accent. But what's getting me is Jack Black is Bowser.
Jack Black is fucking awesome. I couldn't even tell that was him. I didn't even know he was in the movie. He sounds awesome. But yeah, man, like it's just jarring if you don't hear Mario saying it's the me. Like it's just like, is that really Mario? Or is it just Bob Hoskins?
So you want like Mario to sound like he just smoked like a 6-pack of 6 cartons of darts and just
Some
drink a pint of whiskey and
it's the me, Mario.
Luigi, what are you doing?
Luigi, what are you doing? It's a Koopa.
Yeah, that's what you want. You just want
That's
that.
Bob Hoskins right there.
Like just deep, raspy smoker's voice, Mario, huh?
Let's go and jump it down this pipe. So fucking stupid. The movie looks.
Are people
cool,
going to rediscover the live action original because of this movie?
God, I hope not.
My kid
Will that become a nostalgia thing now?
If you find on VHS.
Yeah,
the Mario Brothers movie has a little bit of a cult status to it.
Dude, Dennis Hopper.
Yeah, Dennis Hopper as Koopa.
Yeah.
It's developed a little bit of cult status. In fact, it was in the news maybe 2 months ago because the director's cut came out. Somebody like pieced it together with all the deleted scenes
Oh, like a fan cut.
Yeah. I found it. It's on YouTube. I don't know, man. I was a kid when that movie came out, so I liked it. But I definitely, if you separate it from the video games, it makes it a little bit better. Like the Koopas and Bowser, or whatever. Bowser's not even in it, isn't it? Just King Koopa is what they call him. Dennis Hopper in that.
Yeah.
They don't even call him Bowser. They look bad. I don't know, but it's also the 90s. I don't know.
Some stuff doesn't age well.
No, it doesn't. Most of that stuff doesn't. But it's good, dude. John Leguizamo as Luigi, I thought was a perfect casting. And Bob Hoskins was a good casting as Mario. It's just that writing was really bad.
I want to hear Charlie Day's Luigi.
I do too.
I keep hearing him from Always Sunny in Philadelphia, and can't picture him as Luigi.
Oh yeah, have they added those guys to your guys' state flag yet?
Hopefully soon. Great show. I want DeVito on there anyway, but you know.
Have you guys seen that TikTok video where somebody is going through their house and like getting all the family photos and slowly replacing all their family members with Danny DeVito until their mother finds out? It's hysterical, dude. Hysterical. Danny DeVito would have been a fucking awesome choice for Mario, dude. I don't give a fuck.
Hey, would have been.
Yeah, that would have been awesome. He's got kind of that higher pitch voice too. Like I could believe it.
Plus, yeah, he is.
It's
kind of
the
built like
Mario. Huh?
He's kind of built like him too. So
yeah, he is.
I want Danny DeVito to be Wolverine.
You don't like John Leguizamo? Like, how do you say his name?
John Leguizamo.
Yeah. Joe's Dolan doesn't like him. I like him. I don't give a fuck.
I heard that Rob McElhenney and Ryan Reynolds are trying to get Danny DeVito to be the Wrexham mascot for their soccer club.
Have you watched his new show, That Little Demon?
No.
That show's fucked up, dude. It's on FX. It's with Aubrey Plaza and Danny DeVito and someone else I can't remember.
Yeah, because Joe's Dolan said, I never want to hear John Leguizamo and good casting in the same sentence ever again.
I don't know what his deal is, man. I like him. He was Bruno. We don't talk about Bruno.
Wasn't he just in what's it? Not the Matrix, with the other one, John Wick. Was he? Yeah, he was the guy that helped him get his car back. That's John Leguizamo.
Is it?
Yeah, after his car gets busted in the first one, and he's the guy that
it is. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it is. I forgot.
He's the guy that smacked the kid, the mafia or the Russian mob guy's kid. So he plays a good tough guy. I mean,
yeah. And in Carlito's Way, he's fucking Benny Blanco from the Bronx.
Oh yeah.
He was also in that show Waco that was on Netflix. That was fucking awesome.
Yeah, someone just wrote he was also Violator in that Spawn movie back in the 90s, and he did pretty good with that too.
Yeah. So slow your roll.
You can't forget his masterpiece, The Pest.
I remember that one.
I did not see that one.
It was kind of his crack at like a Jim Carrey type movie.
His Oscar-worthy performance in Romeo and Juliet. All right.
Isn't he also in Ice Age?
Yeah.
Yes, he is.
He's Sid. He's the one that talks with the lisp.
Yep.
Yeah, dude. This guy's been in movies for
forever.
1984 was his first. He was in Die Hard 2, apparently.
Oh yeah. Was he?
I don't remember.
Should have got an Oscar for his performance of getting stabbed in the throat and Kick-Ass 2.
He's in some good shit.
They'll have a bad show here and there, a bad movie, but Mario wasn't his best one, I guess.
Young, video game property. You think it's going to be a franchise, so you stick your name on it, and it doesn't do well.
Video game properties back then were none of them were doing well until Sonic came out. Really, like Resident Evil was probably the most successful.
Sonic is still like the only one that seems to be able to go anywhere. Like Netflix just canceled their new Resident Evil show after one season, so Sonic,
which I like that one. Anywhere. I like that Resident Evil show. The Uncharted did fairly well, but there was nothing else it was competing against.
Yeah,
I mean, it's not a.
But it's also Tom Holland and Mark Wahlberg. So like,
are we giving them A-list status? Because Ish gets really sensitive over this A-list thing. Oh man.
Hey, Mark Wahlberg used to be A-list.
Oh, he's got to be A-list from Departed. He got to be in the A-list since that movie.
No, there was a time I actually looked it up where he had like 10 movies in a row that all made over like $100 million at the domestic box office, and no other actor at the time could match that consistency. But that's dropped off. But he had like a span where he was like the top.
Was that when Ted came out?
He was Dirk Diggler, man. Come on.
Yes.
Was that when Ted came out ish?
Yeah, Ted was probably part of that run. Yeah.
Ted is one of the best comedy movies I've ever seen, dude. That show.
That was
Ted
a massive hit. Yeah.
Was the best scene in that in Ted 2 when he knocked over that all the vials from the donation clinic, we'll call it.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Oh man.
I haven't laughed so hard in a long time since I saw that show.
The best scene is when, and I forget which one it is when they're talking about F. Scott Fitzgerald, and they're like, "What did he do?" They're like, "What are you talking about?" Well, why F. Scott Fitzgerald? Like, what did he do to you? What did poor Scott Fitzgerald do to you? She's like, no, that's his name. They named him Fuck Scott Fitzgerald. It's the best scene ever, dude. I love that fucking scene.
I like when they try to steal sperm from Tom Brady. What's up, Corbin?
They open the blanket and a big.
Hey, we got Corbin in the house.
Corbin.
It's a rare Corbin sighting.
I thought we did something to piss him off, dude. Like I haven't seen or heard from Corbin in a minute.
Corbin train is backing up, man. It's
you, sir, owe me a phone call. Corby. That's his new name, Corby, until he gives me a call. He's going to be forever known as Corby.
All right, moving on. Christian Bale, who played Batman for 3 movies, says he wouldn't have minded being typecast as a brooding superhero for the rest of his career. When asked about whether he even became, if he'd be concerned that he would only be known as Batman, Bale said he'd love it, particularly because such typecasting might have been a reason for him to leave acting altogether.
This guy, since he's come onto the scene, is like, I hate being an actor, but then he comes out with these fucking awesome movies.
Well, he talks about how he was basically forced into it when he was a kid because his family was poor and he had to help him pay bills and all that. And yeah, like, I don't know. It's weird to hear an actor say, like, I would love to be typecast, because normally you hear the shoe on the other foot of like, I don't want to be typecast. I'm sick and tired of being typecast. Like Liam Neeson, every single movie he makes now is like, it can be compared to Taken.
Oh, that's a running joke between my family and I. Every time Liam Neeson comes out with a movie, it's just Taken with like wolves, or Taken with amnesia, or Taken on a train. Like it's all fucking Taken. They sent me a text just 2 nights ago. They were watching some new Liam Neeson movie, and it's like Taken, but in Mexico or something like that. It's no, I think this just speaks to, like, actors that say this kind of shit just speaks to their humility. I think they're just grateful to be in the position that they're in, not thinking that they're deserving of that position. Like, I would assume that Seth Rogen might be one of those actors that is just grateful, like, because he basically does, for the most part, the same role in every movie. Right. He's kind of been typecast. And he's kind of one of those actors that is big and famous and probably never thought they would be big and famous.
Seth Rogen, when it comes to Seth Rogen, was he typecast, or is he just steering into his curve? Because, like, he's found that sweet medium where, like, when he tries to play outside of a stupid stoner, it doesn't work that well. But when he rides,
it's not like there's
line
many casting options for him,
right? Yeah. Like, you see, like, Adam Sandler go out and make something like Uncut Gems or like Funny People, or you see some of these more bigger comedians in these more serious roles and they kill it. But it's like Seth Rogen, you can't see him as anyone other than Seth Rogen in like any movie he's ever done.
No, even when he's the voice of Pumbaa and Lion King, I was like, oh, that's Seth Rogen in a pig suit.
Green Hornet, I'm like, oh, that's Seth Rogen just dressed up cosplaying as the Green Hornet. Like, it's it's.
No, but I do think, like, when you hear actors like the other one that is
Punch Drunk Love was good, Joe's doing. Yes, you are correct.
Weasel, is it Weasel from Deadpool? What's his name? TJ Miller.
TJ Miller, yeah.
I was just watching some videos with him, and he's like, I don't care. Like, I just want to be the funny guy. Like, that's kind of all his roles, right? And it's just these actors that just probably don't think that they deserve to be there, and they're just grateful to get work, and they're enjoying the work, and they're enjoying the accolades that comes along with that work, and they're fine being typecast. It's the other ones like James Franco that thinks he's God's gift to cinema, that wants to try as many things as he can, or any of these other guys that are big time like actors, not Hollywood stars and actors. I think are different things, right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I appreciate
absolutely.
him saying this. I appreciate
movie
him
star
saying this.
versus thespian.
Yes.
Yeah, Christian Bale is a thespian. He's played so many different roles. I mean, it's hard it's easy to say I would have been okay being typecasted when he played such a wide variety of roles, whereas Seth Rogen, just like you said, he plays himself. So
yeah,
it isn't like he's acting. Jennifer Aniston's not acting; they're playing themselves in these movies. Bale he can do just about anything.
The guy dives into his roles. I mean, I don't know if you guys have seen The Machinist, but he's just it's like jaw dropping how good he is in that movie.
Well, think about his I don't want to interrupt there, but with his role in the new Thor movie, they didn't want to cover his face just because of how well known he is. Just because of his how well he's known. So they didn't want to mask it up and whatnot. But other actors could have got away with that, and no one would have cared different. But it made it difference to Marvel to make sure you could know it was Christian Bale.
Yeah, I mean, we've said a lot of words of how they kind of fucked up the God Butcher there,
right?
Like his look and everything. But no one, I think, would say that Christian Bale did a bad job with what he was given, right? Ish, I know Ish hates that movie.
Yeah, he was complete. Yeah, he was underused. I mean, it was
the best
like
part
a
of the
waste.
movie.
You get this amazing actor, and then you just waste the whole role. All his best scenes seem like they just were off screen.
Well, you have the best an amazing actor playing what could have been one of the best bad guys. Like, we could have seen a superhero movie get an Academy Award winning him get an Academy Award for playing this role if they did it right. But because they gave you the watered down version of Gore the God Butcher, and you didn't even see him butcher anybody, it's like, they ruined it so much. I could have got past his look. Like, I wanted to see the tentacles and the comic accurate gore, but I could have got past that if they would have just followed his story better and let that play out. But they didn't, and it's still just not.
But nothing against what he did with
no, absolutely not.
Like he did, like he is captivating. Like he's the only good part of that movie, I would say. He's captivating with what he worked with. But you look at like Heath Ledger, who did win an Oscar for Best Supporting Actor, didn't he? Posthumous, post. How do you say that?
The mole on Christian Bale's nose is a better actor than 95%.
Yeah, thank you. He won an award for Best Supporting Actor for his role as the Joker, wore a ton of makeup and a wig and all these other things, and completely dived into this role. Heath Ledger was a good-looking man, right? And you kind of get lost in the fact that is Heath Ledger, right?
Yeah.
And yet it is the role that he will forever be remembered for. I mean, if you think Heath Ledger, ask anybody Heath Ledger, and what's the first movie they're going to come up with? It's probably The Joker.
10 Things I Hate About You.
You think that's the first one people are going to name?
Absolutely. 10 Things I Hate About You.
A Knight's Tale.
No.
Brokeback Mountain.
I think the one that won him the award. I mean, the one that got him all the accolades.
Oh, no,
but
no one could
I don't know.
No one could beat that. His portrayal in Dark Knight.
I mean, we forever, like, for the longest time was, are they going to be as good as Jack Nicholson? Are they going to be as good as Jack Nicholson? And now it's, are they going to be as good as Heath Ledger? Like, I don't even think.
Aaron says, I think Knight's Tale. Sam says, Knight's Tale. 10 Things Brokeback.
I wanted to make reference to something that Joe's Doolin said.
Your mom said, I go with A Knight's Tale too.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's just because of the kind of movies I watch. I was thinking Batman.
So in Lance's own words, the Chad's nothing but a bunch of fucking liars.
Oh, okay. That's the comment I wanted to call out for Joe's Doolin. He says Wahlberg is always a joy, even in crappy movies. Watch Me Time; it'll change your opinion on that.
I watched that movie. I actually didn't mind him in that movie.
That movie is fucking awful.
Yeah, it's awful. It's terrible writing, but like I didn't mind Wahlberg in that movie at all.
The only part that I laughed at that movie is when they ran over the tortoise and dropped it off in front of a vet.
Yeah.
Like a drive-by vet drop off. And I laughed my ass off, and that was the only time. That movie was supposed to have me laughing from beginning to end, and that's the only scene that I laughed in, is when they ran over a 150-year-old tortoise.
I watched it. I still like Wahlberg in it.
No, fuck, that movie sucked, dude. You can't even. Oh my gosh, my wife said, "Oh, you watched that movie without me?" I was like, "Thank me for it." Like, just don't even add it to your watch list, dude. Like, that was bad. That was bad.
I like Wahlberg. There's not really many movies with Wahlberg in it that I don't like.
Did you like him as Sully?
No, Uncharted I didn't care for. I liked Wahlberg in it, but I don't believe that he was Sully. So I just, whenever I watch that movie, I just pretend that he's a different character and he's not actually Sully, and we're good.
So he played a better Nathan Drake in that movie than he did Sully, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know. But. All right, what's next? What's next on the docket?
Spider-Man No Way Home star isn't hoping for a fourth installment. The actor who played Ned Leeds says it was such a beautiful experience to be part of. I think for all of us, about this time on Tom Holland's led Spider-Man trilogy, we started at a very young age, behind being teenagers essentially when we started the first movie, and to really watch the arc of the movie come together for all the characters come full circle, I would say that it was crazy. It was a crazy thing to read. It was crazy to see Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire in the script. It was crazy to have all the villains in the script, and then to have it end the way it did on such a cliffhanger. Obviously, everyone wasn't expecting that. I would say that it was such a poignant. I can't see that. Why is it so small on my screen?
I don't know.
Ending to our movie. It really puts an exclamation point on the continuance of Spider-Man, but maybe not with us. I think that's a great thing. We may not necessarily be part of it in the end, but it was a beautiful ride anyway. I agree with him. I don't think there needs to be a fourth installment of the Homecoming franchise. Like, I think they need to move past Homecoming now.
But it's going to be Tom Holland.
Well, yes, it'll still be Tom Holland. But I'm saying, like, we need to see him at a different point. We need to move past the Homecoming. So,
but do you really think that? Okay, maybe not Ned. If you look at the three of them, Ned seems to be the most expendable. But do you really think that they're not? Yeah, we all want him to be.
Well,
but do you really think that they would?
I bought the book because I thought he was going to
be in No Way Home.
Yeah.
Hold on to it because it's probably coming. But do you really think they'll continue to make Spider-Man movies without Mary Jane? Well, that's not her name in the movie. What is it? Melissa Jones or Michelle Jones? Do you think they really would make another Spider-Man movie without MJ or eventually bring her back?
I do.
I mean, they got rid of Aunt May. They're also going to get rid of MJ?
I mean, they could. You could get the actual Mary Jane, or they could move on to Gwen or Betty Bryant. You know, he's had other love interests in his life.
He has, but none as essential to the core of Spider-Man as Mary Jane.
You can move on to Felicia, Black Cat. Yeah, there's avenues you could go.
I think that you could get maybe a couple.
I think this Ned Leeds is essential to Tom Holland's Spider-Man. You can't get rid of these characters. You can explore other characters, but you can't just get rid of.
Well, that's what I was about to. That's what I was about to say. Like, I think you may go a couple movies where he's maybe testing the waters with a Black Cat or Gwen or something like that. But eventually, I think these two come back. And then it's going to be a big fan moment. You see Zendaya back on the screen after 2 movies. Like, I think people would freak. I mean, Zendaya is pretty universally loved, it seems like. So you go 2 movies, Spider-Man with no MJ, no Ned Leeds, and then 3rd movie, they're back.
But I mean, the way his point, though, is that No Way Home pretty much definitively ended that chapter. So, like, I don't think we need. I agree where we don't need a fourth installment of the home trilogy. You know, like we need to move
That's
past.
the
Like, I get what
ending,
you're
that their
saying.
just friendship is forgotten. The
No, I
Well,
think
relationship
something's
forgets who
gonna
is
Peter
happen.
forgotten.
Parker
That's
is.
the ending you.
I think something's gonna happen where
I'm not happy with that.
spell. Yeah, I'm not either. I think something's gonna happen where the spell is gonna have to be reversed, or maybe something with Kang or something makes all this reversed, or I don't know. I mean, he is the keeper of the multiverse, right? So, and there's a big Kang storyline coming up, right, for the 4th Avengers movie.
Well, not Ant-Man
Or-
Quantumania also, but
Yep.
Yeah, I think something's
Wait,
going
who's
to
the
happen.
keeper of the multiverse?
Well, he's like he thinks of himself as like the keeper of the multiverse, right? King the Conqueror.
Kang?
Yeah.
No, the timelines, not the multiverse.
Oh fuck,
the
that's right. They're
timelines.
different things. We just had this conversation, didn't we? In the text.
Yeah.
Were we just talking about this?
yeah, Corbin said that Spider-Man trilogy ended.
We were the
beautifully. Now
other
time
day,
to move
we
on
were.
and try a different look with the character. Heck yeah.
What look are you going to go for next?
Sam.
If Sam says Lance's vasectomy will get reversed before that happens.
Fuck that.
What look do you move on to? I mean, I think you put him on, you know, when we revisit Peter Parker, he should be later on in his Spider-Man years. Like,
Well, I
mean,
think
you
we're gonna
go
get
to
Venom.
Do
You're
they
still
go to
gonna have Tom
live
Holland
action
playing,
Miles
but-
Morales maybe, or Scarlet Spider now, or something? Just if they want a clean slate and go a different route.
I think Miles Morales is going to come sooner than later. I do think that. I mean, I think Marvel is chomping at the bit to get Miles Morales. We had that tease in the first movie with Donald Glover, right, being his uncle. He just had one of the biggest games of the year. The Miles Morales game was one of the biggest games of the year when it came out.
Tick says breaking news: Spider-Man 4 titled to be Spider-Man Alone at Home.
Why not Home Alone and just cast Kevin McAllister as Uncle Ben?
Well,
I don't know, man.
Well,
You want to
Got
see
a
him
ton more Spider-Man stories to tell.
but let's be honest. Up to this point,
I'm not.
he hasn't really been Spider-Man. He's kind of been that was the whole allure of Peter Parker. He's the everyday guy with the same problems you do, but he got bit by the spider and he uses intelligence to build his gadgets and all that. And up until this point, like Tony Stark has pretty much handed him everything. He had his little
Spider-Man
makeshift
in training.
Yeah, he had his little makeshift suit and stuff like that, but he got the new tech suit from Tony. He got this Iron Spider suit from Tony. So, like at the end of No Way Home, we finally see him actually make his first legit Spider-Man suit, and it looks beautiful. Like I want to see more of that suit. So I would like to see him a little bit more into the years of being Spider-Man and maybe steer away from MJ, but focus on like his relationship with Black Cat or Gwen Stacy, or I would love to see the Gwen Stacy stuff play out again in Tom Holland's universe, and then you move into. I think we're getting everything. Hint is moving towards the Secret War stuff, where he's going to get the black suit. I'm expecting him to get it that way, and in the movies and all that. So, like, they already set it up with leaving a part of Venom in that universe and everything like that. So,
I think I'm ready to see the Black Cat storyline.
Yeah, well, the problem.
Spider-Man gets involved with a married woman in Spider-Man Homewrecker.
But you have that. You were talking Christian Bale and the Joker and Heath Ledger and redoing the same characters over and over again. They even did in Suicide Squad a Joker again. So you got all the same characters with Spider-Man too. So it'd be nice to change up stories so you have nothing to compare it to. It's all clean slate. I mean, I'm have no problem with that, but there's so much more, I guess, you had to do. Why not try
that's
that
why I
route?
think Black Cat, to your point, Black Cat,
Yeah.
I think would be a prime fucking character to dive into, something we hadn't seen before, right?
Yeah, I think there's plenty of stuff to explore that we haven't seen on screen yet. It seems to always be the same type of characters, that Sinister Six, same, they had Gwen, they had MJ, they had MJ again. Just let's do something different.
What if this leads to the Clone Saga? What if this leads to the next
You get
movie?
a Ben Reilly?
Yeah, but you have because there's that whole like identity crisis thing where Ben Reilly thought he was the real the Peter Parker, and Peter believed he was the clone, and you have Peter out there as Spider-Man and someone calling themselves Peter Parker, and you kind of run into that whole clone storyline with the Jackal, and you kind of get into those waters, and there's just so many other iconic storylines out there from Spider-Man that they can move on. They don't need to continue with the home stuff. They can, we can get a Ned Leeds Hobgoblin at some point. I don't think it would be this actor, but
Mephisto's like in every movie, right?
Yeah, but if you have what's his name? I'm blank on his name now. The Ned Leeds. If he doesn't want to play anymore, then then that's. If he thinks they did a great send off, then maybe it's time to.
I don't know. I think. What else is this guy doing? I mean, Tom Holland's got a career outside Spider-Man. Zendaya's got a career outside Spider-Man.
He's got a new vampire show coming to FX.
You saw what happened to the Seinfeld crew, right? None of them really made it when they split apart. So,
well, Julia Louis-Dreyfus was in Vice. She was in. Now she's in the Marvel universe. Yeah, but Kramer, no. Jason Alexander was pretty much reduced to cameos in other shows.
Yeah, it's stick with what works. So if I was what's
I think that this guy is on the road to become Hobgoblin. I mean, he lost all that weight like pretty quickly, and maybe he just did it for his health. That's very possible.
Maybe it is sci-fi sticks. I can't remember if it's FX or sci-fi.
Yeah, if it's sci-fi, can you really call it like a career making? I mean, that's the channel that has Chucky on it. I don't know if you watched that one. I don't know.
I'm just saying, if I agree with him to a point. Like, leave the home trilogy as is, move on. Let's see Spider-Man at a different point in his career, versus just being the Spider-Man in training.
And I think where we're at is kind of unprecedented too. Like, we've never had more than 3 Spider-Man movies for a single reoccurring character, right? This is the first time we're getting a fourth Spider-Man movie too. So,
well, if we get it, because it hasn't even been announced yet.
Oh, I'm sure it's coming.
Well, I guarantee it.
Sony's had like $3 billion movies, and all of them were Spider-Man. Like, they want another one.
Yeah, they're not letting this up.
No. No Way Home. Like, since Endgame, like, No Way Home is the last like true hit that Marvel's had. Right? I mean, Doctor Strange, like, all those movies made money, don't get me wrong. But No Way Home was the first one that everybody was buzzing over and like going crazy. Like, Doctor Strange and fucking Thor didn't have the kind of buzz that Spider-Man had.
Oh, no, we expected to see something like what No Way Home did for us with the 2 extra Spider-Man was such a cool thing to see, and we thought we'd see something cooler in the next couple movies, and it just didn't happen.
Do you know what I've been seeing a lot on Twitter, like, since No Way Home came out, is people trying to get a movie with all the Hulks. I'm like, dude, you got it once, like, just fucking let it go.
Well, you give the fans what they want with all the Spider-Man. You gave them the Reed Richards they wanted. We might get you got Wolverine now coming in, so keep pushing. We might get everything we want, right?
Yeah, Eric. Anybody want to see Eric Bana again as the Hulk?
Yeah. No, I don't need to see Hulk. I don't need to see the Hulk poodles again.
Oh yeah, that was
that would have been a cool little, like, when they were but Bruce Banner's never been in the Illuminati, right?
No,
not that I remember. I was gonna say, when they were having all those Illuminati, I would have much rather had like Eric Bana or Ed Norton or something like that rather than the Captain Marvel that they had.
Oh yeah.
She seems so oddly placed, that Captain Marvel, out of all these little fan service things, and then they throw in Captain Marvel.
Yeah, I didn't get it.
Yeah,
but hey, they were all gone in about 15 minutes anyway. So
yeah, Reed Richards got noodleized. All right, what's next, Matt?
Deadpool 3 Wolverine announcement left Ryan Reynolds physically shaken. Ryan Reynolds revealed that he was just as excited as the fans to announce Hugh Jackman's return as Wolverine. Speaking to Forbes, Ryan Reynolds shares his excitement about the Merc with the Mouth finally crossing paths with the iconic member of the X-Men in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. He says, "I couldn't be more excited," he said. "I mean, especially to do it this way. Ultimately, I get to work with one of my closest friends in a world and that doesn't in the world, and that doesn't happen very often working in this business." Reynolds also explained that keeping the secret of Jackman's return left him physically on edge. "I'm thrilled, and I've been sitting on this a couple of
I've been sitting on those
the
couple
teasers
of
for a few weeks
There you
now."
go.
He continued, "It's one of those moments when you're hitting send or a tweet or a post. Your hand is shaking when you're messing with the zeitgeist in your way like that. It's been amazing. I feel the same way that the fans do, though. I feel as excited that this character is coming back for another ride, particularly in this context. I think it's something that people have to want for a long time to get to this pairing up on the big screen, and that's what we aim to do."
I really think, though, that they could have just announced Deadpool 3 and tried to like hold this close to the chest like they did with Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire.
That's not the way. Like the end of Deadpool 1, he does the Ferris Bueller's Day Off thing, and he goes, "You're still here. Oh, next time we're gonna have Cable," and that's what they did. So this is kind of like the Deadpool
wink,
shtick
wink.
right here. Yeah, is he?
Yeah.
Let the cat out of the bag, and
Yeah,
do you think we're gonna get any other? Do you think we're gonna get any other teases in that movie? Do you think we're gonna get a Michael Fassbender or James McAvoy type little tease? I really want, like, I know that who was it they were saying was going to be Magneto? Was it Denzel?
yeah,
Denzel. I mean, it sounds great, but Michael Fassbender, dude, was just fucking awesome as Magneto. He's like one of the only good parts of those old Fox X-Men movies.
No Jennifer Lawrence?
No. As Mystique?
Yeah.
No, Rebecca Romaine was better as Mystique than Jennifer Lawrence.
I'll take either one.
Oh, they're both hot. Don't get me wrong. They're both smoke shows, but Jennifer Lawrence, after every movie, I feel she just bitched about the movie. I sat in makeup for 6 hours. I don't know.
I definitely think
Mystique.
This movie's gonna have a multiverse feel for it because he's like at the end of Deadpool 2, he's still got Cable's time watch. So I think he's gonna be skipping all over the place, and you're gonna get Wolverine from a different time than we know. It's not Logan time because they already said they're not touching Logan. So it's gonna be Wolverine from a different time, and I think they'll end up getting stuck, like jumping and stuck in the MCU, or he won't even be in the actual MCU till like the end of the movie.
What's the timeline that the current MCU is at? Are they 5 years ahead of us?
Yeah, I believe so.
Pretty sure they're
yes.
26 or something.
26 years?
No, 2026.
Yeah, I think they're 5 years ahead of us.
I think it's 2027.
Okay, and Logan was supposedly in 2029.
Mm-hmm.
So is there a way that these movies maybe go into Logan to still end?
Yeah, they in the teaser that they did afterwards, they didn't say it was going to be a different time. They said it was going to be before Logan.
Yeah,
maybe
I know.
Maybe it ends so it can lead into Logan, and Jackman gets that send off or to end it like he did with.
That's kind of
Logan.
cool.
So Logan could actually be like incorporated into the MCU.
Yeah, just basically make that 2 years later that's whatever happens at the end of this Deadpool movie leads into Logan, and then it's in the timeline somehow. It seems like it. I don't know how they're going to do it all. So, that's one thing I thought of, but
that was and that was one of Jackman's stipulations for coming back, is that they wouldn't touch Logan. So Logan is his definitive end. So
yeah, he's proud of Logan. I mean, him and James Mangold, they've both said on numerous occasions how proud they are of that movie, which it turned out phenomenal. I don't want them to touch it either.
No.
Right?
That was good. Good show.
Yeah,
I mean, great movie.
Logan's great. Yeah, I agree.
But then how do you get Professor X? And I guess he's a different version, 616, and Multiverse of Madness, so that doesn't line up. It lines up, but it doesn't. It gets confusing when you get to these multiverses, but
I think it does, but not near as confusing as what Days of Future Past did.
yeah.
I think we can all wrap our minds around it a little bit better than what they tried to force feed us with Days of Future Past.
Yeah, it's
I think this is one of the first, this is probably one of the first MCU movies where you really don't know where they're going to go with it. And I think them announcing Jackman coming back is another like wrench in that cog where I think a lot of these movies are pretty easy to predict where they're going. Like I said, with No Way Home, it's going to be, a mixture of one more day or one moment in time and one more day. And that's pretty much what it was. And you kind of get, like I said, you get that feeling that you can tell where these movies are going. And this one's like a head scratcher for me because you think, okay, multiverse, he's got the watch, he can jump different points in time. Maybe he goes in the MCU from his universe. So it's one of I think this is really intriguing. And honestly, that's great. That's great publicity and for this movie is just
it broke the internet.
Yeah, have them do little shorts like that where you don't even have to spend a shit ton of money on promoting this movie. It promotes itself if you just have Jackman and Reynolds doing little things on social media like that.
And then Welcome to Wrexham. I mean, he's getting Deadpool press like every episode because there's a bunch of people like dressed up as Deadpool going to the Wrexham games, and like every week they refer
to him as Deadpool. They don't even call him Ryan Reynolds. They're like, oh,
he's now typecast.
McElhenney. It's McElhenney and Deadpool. It's
in the last episode, they even asked him like, "Hey, did you buy Wrexham because it's red like Deadpool?" I love that show. Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm excited for it. What was it? 2024?
Yep. Yeah, I was surprised he didn't put a Mint Mobile in his in that ad itself.
Dude, I still love that commercial with Rick.
He had aviation gin in there, so
yeah.
He should have like shown him like calling Hugh Jackman on his Mint Mobile phone or something.
Yeah. It'll be good. Ish, didn't you say you thought this was going to be just a short showing of Hugh Jackman? You didn't think he'd have a whole lot of time in the movie?
That was my initial reaction was, I was thinking of, what kind of role he would play in the movie. And I first thought it was probably like a gag or a cameo but now we're talking like prequel to Logan, So
yeah, I think it'll be a lot bigger role.
It could be a lot bigger role than I anticipated. But then again, it's Deadpool. Everything's still out on the table.
Yeah, look at the X-Force.
What it could be.
You're right. That's what I was just about to say. I mean, they get Brad Pitt to come in with just a flash of him on the screen.
You have to slow down to see it.
Yeah, as the what's the name of his character?
That Electric Man.
Yeah, that's what he does. But what was it? That wasn't his name though, was it?
No, I can't remember.
He was wasn't he like God, I can't remember his character in that movie now. But he was like the invisible dude, right?
Yeah. He was the unseen or something like that. But yeah, man, I'm excited for this. Deadpool, dude, Deadpool's just a good time, dude. Like
he was Vanisher.
Vanisher, that's what it was.
That's right.
Who doesn't get excited for Deadpool, man? It's just Deadpool takes me back to like when superhero movies were just kind of like more fun. Right now they all have some implication like for the whole tapestry of their storytelling, right? But Deadpool is just that one that's you sit down, you watch it, it's fun, right? Yep. It doesn't have to have like this its fingerprint into the grand storytelling. I don't know.
That what makes you wonder how they're going to try to work this in because it's never been stories like that.
As pivotal. Deadpool's never been as pivotal to a big storytelling scheme.
Nope, just a fun show to watch.
Yeah. What's next, Matt?
I mean, that's a good way you could introduce him that way too, leading up to this movie where he just like you could have him time jumping to the MCU, so he just shows up in random spots and movies, and then he's gone.
Oh yeah, like when he's
gone.
watching he's like sitting in a watching Civil War, just eating popcorn, watching them all fight. Yeah, that'd be funny. I think it'd be hilarious.
But an insider at Warner Brothers Discovery revealed that the producer, Dan Lin, took his name out of the mix for potential leads for the DC film branding following the studio shelving of Batgirl. Lin was reportedly troubled by the way the studios decided to not release the complete DCU Extended Universe film for a tax write-off related to other abandoned projects following WB's merger with Discovery.
This story goes deeper than that. There's word that people are leaving this studio in droves because of the dude that's running it. Like apparently this guy bit off more than he can chew. He's micromanaging everybody. He's just really like, there's even been rumors that Warner Brothers may sell again.
Oh, he said they're not selling again, and that
he said that.
And he's saying that these rumors of doing things for tax write-offs are extremely overblown, and that they're going to start dumping millions into movies again, and this, that, and the other thing. So
then release it. Release it as a 4-part special for HBO Max. If it's not a tax write-off,
well, Joe Doolin just said, did anyone see Batgirl trailer leak? It was so damn bad.
Oh, did the trailer leak?
I haven't seen it yet. I haven't really looked forward either, but dude, if they needed to dump another, what was like $100 million in reshoots into this movie, like,
but yet they've got the Flash. They got the Flash with Ezra Miller's like losing his damn mind. They just had him come in a week ago to do more reshoots.
Yeah, they're losing their butts on that movie. Why keep that one going and cancel Batgirl?
Because I think Flash, they have more of a chance to recoup some of that money, I think, in that film, because he's already a well-known name and you've already seen him in other movies, in Batman, Superman, and Justice League. So he's more familiar than Batgirl. So he's going to draw people. More people are going to be drawn to the theater to see that movie. And the whole draw of that movie anyways was Michael Keaton. So
is he still in it in Flash?
Last I heard they were reshooting all his stuff with Ben Affleck, so I don't know.
That was for Aquaman.
Yeah, you found if they're going to get away from the Snyderverse, why keep pushing these movies out and just start over fresh?
Do you guys
just mute it, Lance? Yeah, just mute it. Okay. I can't.
Oh, it's backwards. It's flipped.
CD, yeah. What? And was it Brendan Fraser Firefly in this?
It's supposed to be.
Yeah. He was saying how phenomenal the movie was. And she looks cool. She looks cool. It looks less CW than when we first saw her picture of her suit.
There's Keaton as Batman. That's nice. I don't know.
Those are shots from the original Batman 2. That's yeah.
From mate. Yeah, they are.
So this must be the Flash.
No, that
was the Flash right there.
This has got to be a fake trailer, man.
I don't know. There's a lot of scenes of her jumping around.
Yeah,
but you get those.
Like JP just pointed out, there's shots from other Batman movies. I want to say that the Gordon stuff was from Justice League or Batman Superman.
There's a lot of shit in here though that's her. Like, where would they?
Yeah, but I'm saying like it could be stuff that leaked of her shot, but I don't. Unless they're just using that stuff to recut trailers, but it does not look good.
Yeah, but I mean, to say it's good or bad based on the trailer, I mean, I thought Love and Thunder was going to be good, and it wasn't. So, at least get the movie out. You wrong.
Hey, obviously, someone there at the studio, people have seen the completed film, and they were like, it is not good enough, like Matt said, to put any more money into.
Some dude watching it.
I know there was the story as they had like a funeral and then people were crying because it was so good, blah, blah, blah. I don't know about that. I think the executives are sitting there going, yeah, this is pretty bad. I don't want to spend more money on this.
I don't know. This feels legit.
No, that's the scene in Batman 2 or when he had, that was when Vicky Vale was in the Batmobile and he was driving her to the.
But you remember they might be using like filler scenes because this was never meant for consumption yet. So this might have been like, yeah, this might just, so some of this might be legit. Some of it might, like, I think it's all legit, but I don't think this is the finished product for the trailer. Like they might just be using scenes from the other movies because maybe the CGI wasn't done yet or whatever.
Fucking Zaggy.
Hey, are we reacting to a reaction video?
We are. We're meta
I just wanted to see it.
And then I want footage of like Zaggy reacting to us, reacting to this guy, reacting to potentially a fake trailer.
Just keep that meta going.
This is how we spend our Friday nights, people.
Hey, you guys are teasing him, but he gets more views on that video than we did.
But sticking with DC, Titans unveils the first look at HBO series. The new characters for the new season: Titans, Mother Mayhem, Jinx, and Brother Blood. And I think they all look really good. Especially since Jinx is coming right over from the animated series.
I don't know who Jinx is.
She is a character from Teen Titans, the animated series, and Teen Titans Go, who's making her jump from the animation to live action. Ish, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think she was ever in a comic book.
Jinx, huh? When you say Jinx, I think Halle Berry and Die Another Day, but
this is her.
Hold on.
Is this her, Matt?
Yes.
Oh, that's seductive.
Okay, let's
Teen
get
Titans Go creation.
Yeah,
I don't know who this is.
She's from Teen Titans, so she's from the animated series. This will be her first.
When you said animated series, I thought you meant Batman the animated series.
No.
And then who was the other one? Blood Brother?
Brother Blood.
What is he from? I don't know who any of these people are.
He's from the comics. He's also in Teen Titans.
Hey, Joe's Doolin comment. Yeah, I agree with them. Franca Potente is a fucking really cool German actress. So I was glad to see her name in this too.
What would I know her from, Ish?
He mentions Joe's Doolin mentions Run Lola Run, which was like a huge like worldwide.
Oh yeah, I know that one. Is that her?
Movie. Yeah, and then she's the girlfriend in the Bourne movies, the one who gets killed in the second one. Oh. She's like the main girl in the first Bourne movie.
Brother Blood's first appearance, if anyone is considering, is as Sebastian Blood in Noon Teen Titans 21, and it came out in July 1982. He was created by Mark Wolfman and George Perez.
1982.
This one.
So that's pretty OG then.
Yep.
Interesting. Jinx looks pretty cool though. They kind of got rid of her double pigtail, so
yeah. There's different character mock-ups for her. Like she was in one of them, she was bald. So yeah.
It doesn't look like the Halle Berry.
Oh, that's the dude. All. The dude in the middle is from Vampire Diaries.
The girl on the left looks like the one that was in Werewolf by Night.
Oh shit! Are we talking about that tonight?
Yeah. Awesome. Why'd you not watch it?
No, I did watch it.
Okay.
We talked about it on the phone.
Okay.
I just didn't know if we added it into the schedule.
But
yeah, Titans is really enjoyable. Joe's doing. I agree. I like it a lot, but it is cheesy. Like
we'll see if they get a season 5 though.
Yeah, we'll see.
I think this is where DC can shine is if they start taking these lesser known characters and like Peacemaker. That was a great show. Take something.
A fantastic show, yeah.
Well, that's kind of what Marvel's doing, right? And I honestly think maybe DC might be doing it better.
Yep, I agree.
Like, if you look at Doom Patrol, Titan, some of the more adult-driven stuff, right? Which I guess you can't really compare the Marvel shows, I think, to the CW shows because they're a little bit more, they're less
until She-Hulk.
more adult. Until She-Hulk, right? But like Moon Knight would never be on CW. But if you look at the adult-driven shows, Titans, Doom Patrol, Peacemaker, like I would say DC's doing a better job than Marvel is.
Joe's doing says Doom Patrol is still my favorite DC.
Great thing, and Brendan Fraser's so fucking good in that show.
I haven't got past season 1 yet on that one. Been trying to, but too much to watch.
It's that show's weird, man. But Alan Tudyk is fucking awesome in that first season. Matt's not a big Alan Tudyk fan, but I like him. Are you watching Resident Alien-ish?
I have not seen season 2 yet.
Dude,
it's all
so
like piling
funny,
up on my
dude.
DVR though. But season 1 was really good.
He's just a fucking gem, dude.
He peaked as Pirate Steve in Steve the Pirate in Dodgeball.
He did not, dude. Resident Alien may be his best role, dude. He is so fucking good. He is so fucking good in that show.
He was better as Mr. Negative in Doom Patrol season 1.
I don't remember him. Maybe I missed him. I didn't get that far yet in season 1, so I don't remember.
He's the one. He's the main bad in the whole first season.
Okay.
He's usually dressed all in white, if I remember right. Yeah, it's a good show. All right, what's next? They look good. I'm excited. Hey, when's that drop? When's that drop? When is
they have not given a release date for it yet.
Okay. All right.
Black Panther 2, Wakanda Forever. In the Wakanda Forever, the leaders of the kingdom of Wakanda fight to protect their nation from invading forces. In the wake of King T'Challa's death, a new threat emerges from hidden under the sea. So we got a new trailer this week. That was the second trailer after what we got at San Diego Comic-Con. We got our first look at the new Black Panther suit.
Definitely Shuri.
I still don't think it's gonna be Shuri, man. But
you Shuri about that?
I'm Shuri about it. Is that just like your version of the symbols?
I guess
the rim shot. It's gonna hit
the closest button in arm's reach right now.
It's gonna hit the Star Trek whistle every time. But I don't know.
Should I go to the main shots?
I'm just not a.
The water looks better than Aquaman.
It does. I'm skeptical with the liberties they taken with Namor in this, but I'm gonna reserve my judgment to see it in theaters.
I'm very optimistic. Oh, go ahead, Lance. Sorry.
Oh, go ahead, Ish. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say I'm very optimistic about this movie, despite kind of my recent get off my lawn attitude towards what we get in from Marvel, because I think the director of this has big respect for his characters, and he doesn't want to denigrate them the way, for instance, what's his face did with Thor, Taika Waititi. Yeah. I think he purposely went out of his way to just shit all over Thor, and that was like his, made him happy. But I don't think Ryan Coogler, I think he takes this Black Panther stuff pretty seriously, and they have big shoes to fill from the sequel, because that was like one of the biggest hits of all time. So I'm optimistic that this is going to be a quality movie.
It's going to be the second longest Marvel movie ever, just under Endgame, 15 minutes under Endgame, I think. Before that, I think it was the Eternals, and it's longer than the Eternals. Oh. Was this not the new trailer?
No, that's the old trailer.
Motherfucker.
This is the teaser, yeah.
I mean, because you think that they got to tell you how T'Challa dies, so they got to give you T'Challa a big send off. Do
you think we'll see it, maybe, or T'Challa in a suit, so you don't see T'Challa?
They said it's going to happen off screen.
Yeah, I don't think you're
just going to hear about it.
They've already said it's going to happen off screen. I've seen several reports from Ryan Coogler himself that it's going to happen off screen. No, I was reading something the other day about Namor and about some of the changes that they did, and they're trying really hard to separate him from Aquaman, so there's not product confusion. So a lot of the stuff you're going to see is like they've kind of changed his ethnicity a little. They took him away from Atlantis. They put him in closer to like South America, right?
It got like a very Mayan feel to him.
Yeah. So
yeah, like it would literally be like the Gulf of Mexico.
Yeah, so they're trying really hard to not have any product confusion with Aquaman. Is this the right trailer?
Yeah, yes, I believe so.
Because this looks
because you see Ironheart.
Oh yeah, there he is with his shoe wings.
Yeah, I haven't seen this yet, so yeah, this is the new one. Yeah, at least they did the shoe wings.
Yeah, that's the one thing that I think you can appreciate with Marvel is that they can go more campy with some of those things than DC can. DC is like try to be really like hyper realistic almost. But
Marvel has done that before, like when the first X-Men movie was all black leather, and they were it took a couple movies Fox, before they started getting into the colored costumes and stuff. But just in general in Marvel, there was always reticent to go ahead and be like that comic accurate look, but they know that when they do that, we love it as long as they make it look good. We'll eat it up for days.
I should clarify, MCU has been very conscious about doing some comic accurate stuff. They change things. I mean, the new I think that's Shuri.
Yeah.
But whatever. Like have you seen the toys for Ironheart? I think we talked about it on this show a few times.
Yeah.
She looks like Power Ranger from the reboot. Like the suit's just bad. So they do take some liberties with some of the lesser known characters.
You want to know what's super interesting?
Huh?
Michael B. Jordan has a credit in Black Panther: Wakanda Forever.
I think it's gonna be a flashback, or he's gonna be in the afterlife scene.
Yeah, that's my hope. My hope is that he's Black Panther. They bring back.
Well, we just saw that's definitely a woman.
Yeah, it's a woman.
But that could also change in the movie, though.
Yeah, this might be.
I think you're gonna see Shuri as Black Panther in this movie without a doubt. But I wouldn't be surprised if it's Nakia at the end of it, because there's a scene in the first trailer where their mom is like, "I've lost my entire family," so something happens with Shuri. And the actress had issues filming this movie too. Like she had to take time off because she didn't want to follow COVID protocols, and then she had a lot of like issues with that and didn't want to get vaccinated, and she had all those kind of issues, and she voiced that she didn't want to play in Marvel anymore. So I wouldn't be surprised if they move forward without her. You see her.
You're
at
right,
some
because
point
there was
rumors
earlier in the year that she was even going to be written out of this movie because of onset / offset issues.
I definitely think she's Black Panther for this simple thing, and I don't know if you guys can really see
the head dots.
The head dots.
Yeah.
It's also on the Black Panther suit. The same way it's on her face, it's also on the suit. Like, and if it's not her, they're doing everything in their power to make you think that it is.
Yeah.
Yep.
It'll probably be her ultimately, but
she seems to be the most logical choice. I hope if it is a woman that it eventually is her.
That's Nakia.
I like her as a character better than Shuri. I also think that this is one of the most gorgeous women I've ever seen in my life.
She's from Us, isn't she?
Is that the same girl from Us?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, she is. She's gorgeous.
But
Lupita Nyong'o. But I don't know. It'd be interesting to see what they do.
But we'll have to find out in one short month, because Wakanda Forever comes out next month. But it's rumor time. Henry Cavill suits up in Black Adam and is coming back for Man of Steel sequel. And this was in a report that was taken down off the internet just as fast as it was.
Oh, that provides validity.
Right?
That is about the clear.
I didn't know this was a rumor. I thought this was fact.
Henry Cavill has been rumored in every superhero property since he basically unceremoniously got fired from WB. I mean, he was the Beyonder.
Now he's rumored as the next James Bond.
James Bond, Captain Britain, the Beyonder, the everything. He's just been rumored in. And I have no doubt that WB wants to retain his
Sentinel.
services.
That was a rumor.
Sentinel. The Sentinels from X-Men? Like the big things?
No, Marvel Sentinel or
the character Sentinel.
Like Marvel's version of Superman. Maybe it's not
gotcha.
Sentinel.
Not the big Sentinels.
No.
Not the robot.
No, there's Sentry, but there's another one that's Squadron
Wait,
Supreme.
Sentry, I'm thinking I'm having a brain fart here. Maybe it's Sentry.
Issue on a
yes, Sentry.
Why am I colorblind?
This is why we have JP on the show now to correct all my comic book mistakes.
And you're the guy that runs a shop ish.
I know. It's just like it all kind of melds together by the end of the week.
Sure, yeah. But apparently that was from the article I read that has been taken down now. That was one of the stipulations from The Rock of doing Black Adam or continuing to do Black Adam was that Henry Cavill's Superman had to be in it. And a lot of the rumor coming out is from early screenings that say he is in it. But yeah, like I said, that story came out and that article was taken down just as quickly as it was put up. So I think that
we'll find out on the 20th.
That definitely gives you some inkling that there's a bit of truth behind it, but I don't care either way because I'm not going to see Black Adam and I don't care about Superman. So I still think Henry Cavill is a shitty Superman.
Wait, you're not seeing a movie that features an A-list?
I have not seen a movie that features an A-list actor. Nope, not going to do it.
Oh man,
I think his
questions his A-list status.
I think his suit looks pretty cool.
I just can't get past the fact that every trailer I see, man, I just see The Rock. I don't see Black Adam. Like there's no believability here. Like
he's typecasted as The Rock.
Yes.
He can't be anything else.
I don't know.
I miss Henry's CGI upper lip.
That what was that movie he did with Kevin Hart? The one where he's like he used to be overweight.
Oh, and Central Intelligence.
Yeah, that movie's fucking awesome.
Hilarious.
It's a great movie. Now that's better than Me Time.
I don't get why DC keeps bringing. They're trying to kill the Snyderverse, but they keep bringing everyone back.
Oh yeah, it's a question we've been asking for years, man. It makes absolutely no sense. Say the Snyderverse is dead, yet there's still like Shazam's coming out, Flash is coming out, fucking Black Adam. What else?
The people
Aquaman.
calling the shots have no idea what they're doing.
Nope.
But have they actually said those words? The Snyderverse is dead.
Yeah.
Or is that's just shit we see on the internet?
No, they've come out and said, like David Zaslav, I think his name is. He said the Snyderverse is no more.
Yeah, they want to move away from the Snyderverse and build individual movies. They didn't say they wouldn't continue working with these actors, but they want to build individual universes. That's why you got Robert Pattinson's The Batman. That's why they're focusing on Joker. So
Folly Adieu. Not the name of the next movie?
Yeah.
No, but what's funny is they say they want to do these standalone movies, but doesn't Black Adam and Shazam eventually have to meet?
Yep.
Yeah.
Isn't that the whole purpose of both of them? I mean, they have identical suits.
And that's the other thing. Everyone talks about the Superman cameo. I'm totally expecting a Shazam cameo in this Black Adam.
That would make more sense.
No. He Rock said he didn't want Shazam in this movie. He wanted this as a standalone for Black Adam. But then this rumor you're talking about now mentioned that The Rock said bring in Henry Cavill. So I don't know why he didn't want Shazam in it and why he wants Henry Cavill and Superman in it. I don't understand if there's any. Maybe that's why there's no validity to that. So
yeah.
I think it's because they've pitched this movie as the DC hierarchy is about to change, and that he pitches it as Shazam is or not Shazam, but Black Adam is the biggest, baddest man in the DC universe. And there's a line in the movie where he says, there's nobody on this planet that can stop me. So it would make sense that Superman and him would have to face off. So he wants that big hero to face off against him. And it's like Shazam isn't quite as good, yeah, right. Isn't quite good enough as Superman. So,
but isn't Shazam just kind of a cheap knockoff of Superman? As far as his power set?
Yeah.
I would say cheap.
And so are you telling me that Black Adam is going to beat Superman at the end of this movie?
I wouldn't be surprised if he beats him down. Or they fight to a stalemate or something.
Aside from your hate of Henry Cavill, is this speaking from your hatred of Henry Cavill, or is this speaking from what you actually think happened in the movie?
I'm thinking of it's coming from multiple sources. My hate for Henry Cavill, my hate for Superman, and the fact that I think it would be a good direction to take the movie where they either beat Superman down or they fight to a stalemate.
Yeah.
But he must have loved Superman Returns when they stabbed him in the back with that Krypton or the knife, the Krypton knife, or whatever you call it, the Kryptonite knife. That was not the best Superman movie.
His butthole was canon.
I would like to see him. I would like to see Shazam
Cannonball
show up in this, and then watch Billy Batson get the piss beat out of him by Black Adam, and then he's like, "I gotta call my friend Superman." After you get the teaser at the end of the first Shazam, so Superman shows up and then they fight.
Oh man, but dude, Shazam already got his ass kicked by Mark Strong. Like how Mark Strong almost handed him his ass. So wouldn't?
Well, I want to see. I mean, I'm saying like get the dog piss beaten out of him. Like
yeah, but now there's 6 of them.
Yeah,
they don't match up too well, and Shazam from those shows and this darkness of the Black Adam here. I don't know if they're two different types of movies. So
the early reports though is that the Black Adam has the highest body count of any superhero movie to date. So
really,
what does that mean?
He's going to be killing people left and right.
So it's going to be violent. Sign me up.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
I'll see it.
Maybe if they put hair on The Rock for this role, like Black Adam had, where he had the little widow's peak, then maybe I could see it. But I just see The Rock in a dirty costume.
You should get the mustache they had to CGI off of Henry Cavill. and now transfers onto
The Rock's head.
Just the mustache.
That could be like
they're
a
looking
version of
for
the Venom symbiote. It's just this mustache that travels from character to character.
Oh man, yeah, they could save money on CGI. Just grab it from the other movie.
Or here it is, right here. Black Adam and Superman are fighting in the sky, and they hit each other with a double knockout blow, and they fall to the earth, and they crash into an apartment in Wisconsin, into a bedroom where Jeffrey Dahmer's standing there with a videotape, and he puts in, he says, "We're gonna watch a movie." There you go. They just both get Dahmered.
I thought you were gonna go. The Rock was gonna steal Aaron Rodgers' mustache. That's where I thought you were going with that.
No. That sounds like a Rock and Kevin Hart movie right there, though, where they're international mustache thieves and just go around stealing random mustaches.
Your mom said she'd watch that.
Which one? The Jeffrey Dahmer
movie you
one
just pitched? Yeah, the movie you just pitched. I'd watch it too. Hell yeah.
Oh, were there international mustache thieves?
Oh man.
The Dahmer.
No, the Jeffrey Dahmer.
Oh, the Dahmer. Oh, okay. There you go.
The Dahmer heist.
We're gonna watch a movie.
All right, what's next?
And what's the movie? It's the Mario
what's
Brothers
this?
live action movie.
Coming out of this is kind of 2 parts. So some of this news broke at San Diego, some of it broke today at New York Comic Con. But TMNT creators announced 2 new stories from the Last Ronin universe titled The Last Days and a prequel to the popular series titled The Last Years. So The Last Years was actually announced at San Diego Comic Con, But The Last Days was just announced today. Last Days is going to be a one shot that will have a great, Lost Days. Sorry, Lost Years, Lost Days, Lost Mind, Lost Everything. But The Lost Days is a new one shot that will have a great weight from the story and the world that is being built. And then Lost Years will not only be a prequel to The Last Ronin, but will also behave as a sequel to the series as well. So Lost Days does not yet have a release date, but the Lost Years will release in November 2022.
Wait, and it's going to be a prequel and a sequel to Last Ronin?
That's what they're saying.
There's 2 books.
No. So Last Days is a prequel to Last Ronin, but it's also working as a sequel. So if you, spoiler alert, if you didn't read the Last Ronin series, at the very end of it, there's 4 new turtles. April has 4 new turtles that are being in her care. So I almost have a feeling that like it's going to be you're reading the journals of Michelangelo through these new turtles. So they're kind of reading the journals of Michelangelo, and you're doing flashbacks of what the journals are saying or what the writings or teachings are saying. Kind of like, because it's been so long since I read this, but I believe he had like a book from Master Splinter's teaching. So
yeah,
I kind of wonder if these new turtles are going to be reading from that. And so you're seeing that play out as they're learning to become the new turtles. And then they're going to pivot to these new 4 turtles.
So question for you on these books, because one of the reasons I think the Last Ronin was so spectacular is that Eastman and Laird did it together.
Laird is not part of it. Eastman is included in this, yes, but Laird is not.
So I think that's...
And I have a spoiler alert. They barely worked on The Last Ronin. It was actually other people.
Yeah. I think
there's only a couple pages in the whole series that's actually Eastman and Laird. I was very disappointed to find that out, but
you can tell. You could definitely tell which pages are Eastman's. Like you can't miss that. So,
are you talking about the flashback pages?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
But the bulk of the story was written and drawn by 2 other people.
Yeah.
Oh, that
at least their names are in the book, so it's not like they were ghost writers. But I don't know. Everyone just assumed, oh, this is Eastman and Laird through and through. And it was
I thought that's why it was so good.
They kind of cameoed.
Well, it was off of their initial story that they wrote, and then never finished, and then this new team under the guise.
I don't know why they couldn't. Maybe Eastman and Laird literally still can't work together anymore.
Well, they had that
to bring in someone else to kind of actually do the work.
Well, I think if you watch the Toys That Made Us,
is that what it is?
Laird sold all his rights to everything Turtles, and Eastman
he did,
still has them.
Then he got real bitter at Eastman becoming like a gajillionaire.
Yeah.
Well, Eastman sold all his rights to Nickelodeon, right?
I don't think he sold all his rights.
Doesn't Nickelodeon own the Turtles?
I don't know how that shakes out.
I don't know.
No, I think
that's real disappointing. I thought that was the reason why the book was so good. What's that, Ish?
I think you're right. The Nickelodeon does own them.
The story was so good because they took the turtle that was the most like goofy, or let's say airheaded, and made him basically the last standing member. He had to carry all that grief and weight. And it was just a good all around story. I don't think it had really anything to do with Eastman or Laird. Is more than just, like I said, the blueprint. But
I would say it's probably one of the best books I've ever read.
No surprise. I believe it was the #1 best-selling comic of 2021.
It is phenomenal. Like I read that book on my iPad and then went out and bought the compendium of all the issues from Ish. But it's that good, dude. That book is that good. I tell people about it all the time. I'm like, you have no idea how cool the Turtles can be. Just read this book.
Dude, we got in Last Ronin lunchboxes.
Really?
Diamond exclusive. They only made 3,000 units each, and we got 2 of them.
Huh? gonna have to put one of those in the back for me.
Just throwing that out there.
Yeah, here.
Metal ones.
Ish was you guys.
Yeah,
right,
like metal
Nickelodeon.
ones with the thermos and everything.
Oh, that's cool.
What was that, JP?
I just looked it up. They did sell to Nickelodeon, so just confirmed it.
There you go.
I thought they owned it because Nickelodeon's name. I'm pretty sure Nickelodeon is listed in The Last Ronin.
But he's still very much involved in the comic book.
Yeah, he still does the
Eastman
B
is,
cover for the main Turtle series. I think almost every issue now for like the last 20 issues, he's done the B cover. Yeah, he's totally.
So it's probably one of those things where he sold the rights, but he still has creative input into it, which makes it even more disheartening that Michael Bay got to make those movies.
Yeah.
Well, what are you gonna do? But all right, let's jump into a little bit of video game news. Kind of in that main vein of video game movies, classic PC game The Oregon Trail lands a musical film adaptation.
It's not an
Ish, mute your mic. I did it. He's sitting there having a marital dispute.
Well, he was talking about the topic, man. A musical film based on the classic educational video game The Oregon Trail is currently in the works. Yeah, why? I don't know why you need this. It's just gonna be like, I don't know. It's just gonna be like any other like Oregon Trail movie, I guess. You get settlers moving west and on the Oregon Trail, and oh no, you died of dysentery. Yeah. Like half of the fun of this game was you being able to make the decisions for the group, but like
die of dysentery.
Yeah.
I don't think I ever made it to Oregon, so I never understood the point of this game.
No,
there's a card game of it. They've really like monetized the hell out of this.
Like you die in a foot of water, drown in a foot of water trying to ford a river, or you get shot, or you get bit by a rattlesnake, or you die of dysentery. If all the people make it to the end of this movie alive, this movie's a failure.
Well, the good news is that the guys that did Hitmonkey are involved, so I hope it's as good as Hitmonkey was.
Yeah.
You liked Hitmonkey.
It was all right. You're
the one that told me to watch it.
I never finished it.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll see. And
then trusted video game journalist and indie game writer Tom Henderson claimed players looking to see all of what God of War Ragnarok has to offer will need to invest an estimated 40 hours to experience all of its content. The game's main story allegedly comprises half of the estimated playthrough time, with approximately 3.5 hours of cutscenes throughout the video game campaign. The game's side quest will additionally take up another 20 hours to complete, though Henderson noted players might see differing clear speeds depending on their skills and level of playstyle.
Oh, so 40 hours is the estimate, so it's probably going to take me 80.
40 to beat the entire game.
Isn't that the same as like Valhalla?
40-hour work week.
Yeah.
Isn't that the same as kind of Valhalla?
Dude, is that Ciampa?
That is Tommaso Ciampa. Yep, you got it.
That's Tommaso Ciampa in a fucking video game. I want to play it now.
It's not really.
I love me some Tommaso Ciampa.
It looks like.
Is that the wrestler?
Yeah.
That's it, who everybody wants to play this guy, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. But there you go.
He was born to play this, whatever this role is.
Now it's time. We've been talking about it the entire night. It's time to do some reviews.
Silence.
And it's time for everyone's favorite segment. Ish, hit us with a synopsis of this episode of She-Hulk.
Thumbs down. That's a synopsis.
So
fuck that show. Did you just burp?
I guess spoiler alert: Daredevil appears. She-Hulk fights Daredevil. Daredevil then bones She-Hulk. Then the next morning, She-Hulk tells us how satisfied she is. End of episode.
And Daredevil does the walk of shame.
Oh yeah,
That
and then
was the
there's
best
like
part.
the fucking leapfrogger dude and a whole bunch of other stuff. I'm so done with this show.
I
So
actually
he's
really
called Leapfrog. Wasn't he called Frogman in the comics?
Leapfrog and
Is it Frogman?
Because when he said Leapfrog, I was like, I swear his name was Frogman.
well, there's two of them. There's the father and son.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so one was a bad guy in the comics, and then the son was a good guy, and then I think they flipped it in She-Hulk, where now the kid's a bad guy and the son or the dad's a good guy.
What's funny is the kid wants to be a good guy. He's just a fucking spoiled brat.
Yep,
Because isn't his dad really rich or something?
Yep.
I don't know. The Daredevil scenes were cool.
I'll give the episode credit for the first time, I think, since the first episode, she actually hulked out and used her Hulk powers, albeit against another Marvel superhero, and some really super low tier villains. But at least we got to see some hulking out.
Yeah, the
Some
end of the
legit
episode,
hulking out,
she has a rage, like she goes into full Hulk rage.
She does the whole hand slap. I do that sometimes at the shop. It just gets rid of customers. They blow out the door.
So did you guys notice a little tease for Red Hulk?
Yes, you can't miss it. She basically says it.
Hey, I was speaking more facetiously.
Yeah, they literally say it. Yeah. What do you expect? A Red Hulk?
I was trying to work it into the conversation. I guess I didn't do a good job.
I wish Sam was here because I want his take on how a lawyer from New York can suddenly appear in court in the state of California and practice law without a California legal license. But hey, a show that's called Attorney at Law, no expectation whatsoever that they should understand how attorneys or law works.
Listen, I think it's funny that not only have we complained that she has been the least interesting character in her own show, but it's funny that she even gets out-lawyered in her own show by Matt Murdock. But if this whole show was like this episode, I would be okay with it. Like, this is like the first episode in a few weeks. Yeah, it sticks with the trope where she's horny and gets banged out, but whatever. It was funny watching Daredevil do the walk of shame. I don't care what anybody says.
I don't know why I just couldn't put his shoes on and walk. I mean, what the heck?
Right. And I like the little nod to Wolverine when her paralegal comes out and she's got like the makeup brushes in between her fists, like we all used to do with pencils in school to try to be Wolverine. And I enjoyed it. I thought the leapfrog stuff was pretty funny when, you know, he's telling that story and he's really getting the shit kicked out of him and by two dudes. I thought it had a good comedic value, and out of all the episodes, was like the best one.
Yeah, I feel like there's maybe like 2 or 3 high points of this entire series, and then the rest has just been absolute dog shit.
Yep. I think she finally looked good in this episode as She-Hulk. Not that she doesn't, but they actually had clothes that fit her as opposed to the suit she was wearing in the previous episodes when she twerked. So
yeah, the CGI is awful. I mean, and what's even worse is when they use the CGI when they don't have to. Like, they CGI Daredevil running. Why? Why couldn't you just get him to run?
You can make him do more acrobatic effects then. Like, if you look, they say that this Daredevil is the same one from the Netflix series, but there's small differences. Not just the suit, but like you never saw when he jumps off the garage and you see him like hop down and then swing into the lower level. He wasn't doing stuff like that in the Netflix show.
No, because they didn't have as big of a budget.
And like when she smashes the ground and he's running and he like puts his arms out and braces himself and like uses that to springboard up, like you weren't seeing him do that kind of acrobatic stuff in that Daredevil show.
The way he speaks is also lighter. Did you notice that? It's not as like brooding, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So like you can, like I honestly feel like it's a complete reboot.
Well,
Like,
yeah, just like
from his
Kingpin
demeanor.
just like if you look at Kingpin in
Hawkeye.
Hawkeye, he was more of a powerhouse. He had a little bit more like that super strength type stuff to him, and
Yeah.
you know, but I liked how more lighthearted he was and kind of that quick wit he kind of had in this Daredevil had, and just his banter with Jennifer and how he kept telling her, "You're not a superhero." And I like how they started to give you the hallway trope that Daredevil became known for, and then she just smashes through it. Like,
Yeah.
I enjoyed this
I totally
episode.
expected a hallway fight to bust out.
Right? Because
It would have been cooler if it was all one shot. That scene where he was going through all those guys in the hallway, like what Daredevil always did. It was always a one shot.
Yeah,
I was a little disappointed by that. It would have been cool to, because that was always the best thing about Daredevil were those one shot scenes that they did. Each season had one, I think, right?
mm-hmm. Yeah,
complete one shot. This one had cut it a little bit too much. Like it was still cool seeing Charlie Cox again, like kind of kicking ass and being a smart ass. And I don't know. I liked it. His suit is, I'm not sure about the red and yellow man, or the brown and yellow, I guess you could say.
ketchup and mustard.
Yeah, I'm not like, I love that suit in the books, but I'm just not
in real life.
Yeah, I'm not sold on it. Like, I'm not sold on it.
Well, get comfortable there, Lance.
Yeah, I am. I'm gonna lean back.
You're like, fall off screen.
I just realized how much off screen I was. Let me fix this.
But like there was some funny, like I laughed out loud at the walk of shame scene, and I laughed at the when Leapfrog like jumps out the window and breaks his legs. Like I thought that was pretty funny. Like it's the first time I've laughed out loud as something funny instead of just being cringy. But then it gets cringy again because then when the King Hulk stuff starts playing at the gala and they're basically showing a She-Hulk sex tape because she's Kim Kardashian, and then it's like, oh, and she's a slut. It's like, all right, cool. You just gotta throw in there that she's a slut. Nice. But
yeah, it was a little upsetting because she kind of freaks out over that, and it's kind of understandable that she freaks out, and everybody's like I'm sure there's going to be consequences for a freak out.
Yeah,
I don't know. The show's fun for what it is. I just wish that a lot of it is just really lowbrow. It could have been so much smarter. I feel like I think we all wanted to kind of see more of a law procedural type thing, like actually see her as, because in the comics she's a good lawyer, right? And in this, they haven't really convinced us that she's a good lawyer. And in fact, I would say maybe not even 5% of this whole show has she actually been doing lawyer shit.
No.
Correct.
It's been mostly her trying to get laid.
It's been a long, drawn out series.
I think they could get a lot more mileage out of the story too if they had just maybe teased a potential romance with Daredevil and She-Hulk instead of just going
at the end of the episode
straight to bed and they boned it.
Yeah, he's kind of doing it for me, and then she
even like a subtle tease that maybe in the future they'll something will bud. That you can get a lot more mileage out of that. They just
I think you're gonna get it.
The boudoir humor.
How much you want to bet she makes an appearance in Born Again?
Oh, sure. I'm sure she will.
I don't think this is the last, because I think everybody has said, "Oh, this is much better than the rest of the episodes they've been giving us." So Marvel's going to see that and automatically put these two together more often, I would assume.
Cardi West, she can't say that's not me because everyone knows that She-Hulk and Jennifer Walters are the same person. So whether she's transformed or not, there's no denying that's her. But
Bruce Banner can do that. Why can a man do that and a woman can't?
Well, she even says, "I'm not.
I know, I'm
not trying to hide my identity."
I'm just joking.
Yeah.
Did you see
one more episode?
Yep, one more.
Yeah,
Do you see
Long
the character
Drive.
posters for Daredevil
No.
from this?
Is
It
it him
looks
doing the
pretty
walk
cool.
of shame?
No. JP brought up a good point. Why didn't he put on his shoes? Like, I know the walk of shame is usually reserved for like
He's blind. He just got laid. Like, he apparently, according to Jennifer, it was a good lay, and she's very satisfied. So he's probably proud of himself, and maybe he just wanted to connect and feel the earth underneath him. So he didn't want the boots to, inhibit that just naked feeling he could feel with his feet. So he was like, I'm gonna barefoot it, man.
Or maybe he was wearing high heels.
He's a fucking daredevil. He can do whatever he wants.
Well, since it's in California, it's not to worry about anyone recognizing him, I guess.
Right.
He was wearing his mask, wasn't he?
Yeah, well, they probably never seen him out that way, so he can do the walk of shame a couple times before they say, "Is that Daredevil?"
Yeah. You're a long ways from Hell Kitchen. Yeah, I don't know. The show's cool. Werewolf by Night was way better.
They just need to have a villain now called the Foot
Fetish.
Fetish.
She-Hulk, the show is cool.
What?
It was cool. It is cool.
Yeah.
What did you say?
All right, never mind.
No, what did you
me
say?
Or Matt?
No, Ish. What did you say?
I was asking, did you just say that She-Hulk was a cool show?
No, I was just kind of being
cool
like,
show.
Whatever. That was more like
Cool
whatever.
But like I said, they just need to have a villain called Foot Fetish, and then he can just be like, oh, "My God, that's Matt Murdock walking down the street in a Daredevil outfit. I'd recognize those feet anywhere." Fun.
So, do you think we're gonna get a scene with Froggy and Leapfrog together?
Probably not.
No,
I think Death's character is one off and just as usable as Porcupine was.
And the one that constantly dies. What's his name?
I have to say,
Mortal Man.
The one that dies over and over
Mortal
again.
Man, yeah.
Mortal Man.
Or the Mortal. What were you gonna say, JP?
Mr. Mortal. I was gonna say, listening to some of the spec talk as this show was coming about, and all the stuff that got leaked, Porcupine, Leapfrog, and then you see these guys on screen and you say, did I really just buy that book for $500 or whatever it would have been for these, D-list characters that meant nothing to the show? I mean, they're totally irrelevant. They're just a throw-in.
Should have learned. Like, I learned that way back in WandaVision, man. You can't speculate on these shows because you're going to be sadly mistaken. Like, think of all the people that paid a shit ton of money for the first Mephisto, and that didn't pan out. And you pay all this money for these books.
That's still a cool book, regardless.
It is. It is a cool book, but like the speculation.
If your spec is like Silver Age or good Bronze Age, then you're not going wrong
but
either way.
with the spec game, if
if
you're
buying a '90s book and it's some bomb, then
if you're buying these books after the show or after they've already been announced they're going to be in the show, you're late to the game. Like, that's.
Yeah, people were buying the Porcupine appearance, whatever, Tales to Astonish. I don't know what episode it was or what show or what book it was, but you bought that for such a terrible appearance. So
how much was that book?
That's a Silver Age book.
How much was that book going
What's
for?
that?
How much was that book going for?
A couple hundred, from what I gather. When I remember, it was a Silver Age book.
Now, did Man-Thing shoot through the roof?
Villain spec is always awful. D-level spec or D-level villain spec is just piss money away. Yeah. But
I don't disagree.
Was that did Man-Thing jump up in value?
I'm sure it will after today.
Yeah. It did even before, because you could see him in the trailer. That's been jumping up and at least panned out.
Yeah,
Porcupine
that was fucking awesome.
Hey, come to Fantastic Worlds Comics right now, because we got first appearance Man-Thing in Savage Tales sitting in our case at whatever the current price is. Shit, I can't remember. Yeah, to be honest, I can't remember.
Is it decent?
It is. If it's in the case, it's decent.
No. Is your asking price decent?
Give a show discount.
We give a what? Show discount? Yeah, come in and say Absolute Geek. We'll give you a deal.
Bill looked at me like I was a fucking space alien when I said, "Yeah, I do the show with Ish." He's like, "The fuck you talking about?" I was like, "Can you just call Ish and ask him where my shit is?" Oh, Bill's a funny guy, dude. I like him.
Bill doesn't give a fuck about you.
No, I was like, "Yeah, I do the show." Oh, where'd JP go?
I don't know.
Yeah, I asked him, I'd say, "Hey, I'm Lance. I do the show with Ish." He just looked at me with the blankest stare, dude. Like, what the fuck am I talking about?
Oh, he's back.
Sorry, guys.
I think you figured it out.
Yeah, he figured it out. I said, "Just call Ish."
He's like, I'm tired of you, Bat. I'm tired of you, Lance. I'm getting out of here.
No, he's actually a really nice guy. He gave me a free poster.
No, I was talking about JP. He's like, I'm tired of you, Lance. I'm out of here. Heard enough.
I'm just a little worried about Ish. Ish, you feeling okay?
Yeah, why?
Oh, you just haven't ate anything since you've been on the show.
Dude, I had
he's worried about your
two
diet.
Hot dogs on air.
Why is it? What's it with hot dogs?
Two hot dogs? Did you like
literally
inhale
on
them?
air?
Like,
I
never saw that.
2 hot dogs.
I never saw you eat 2 hot dogs either.
I saw him eat them, but I thought it was
you literally
the bun was
inhaled
way bigger, and I even ate the fucking bread ends live on air.
He just
got meatball sauce.
I was not double fisting.
Double fisting.
I
was not double fisting because I prepared them one. I brought one over.
Did you even taste them? Like fucking, you just had to like swallow them whole. Then
I never saw that. I'm glad that I'm not in the minority. Matt's like, I never saw it either.
I saw him eat them. Do you make them in the boiling? You boil your hot dogs? You make them on a grill?
He's Canadian.
These were kind of like
microwave
sausages. So I actually fried them on a pan.
Okay.
Aaron says you were deep throating.
They're like hot dogs, I'll boil in water.
Oh. Chocolate starfish in the hot dog flavored water.
Aaron
you didn't see all the ketchup and mustard squirt out of my mouth.
Pornhub.
No, I never saw any of that shit, dude. I never.
You need to watch me more. That's the problem, right here. You need to watch my little square.
Oh yeah, I'm just gonna sit here and just be like,
yes. What is he doing? Analyze the fucking painting behind me a little better.
Of the Hungarian.
When I put things in my mouth, then you need to be watching.
Okay, I don't pay attention for when other men put things in their mouth. I'm sorry.
Well, you missed a whole.
It's on Pornhub already. Toronto Maple Leafs fan deep throats 2 hot dogs while on podcast.
I was seriously worried about him. I was like, Ish, is your tummy feeling okay? You feeling okay, bud?
But Savage Tales 1, the first man thing, you can get a 6.5 to 7 like low grades on eBay for a good amount. If you want a graded one, 9.2, $2,500.
Jeez.
There's a 4.5.
You know what? I think ours is a 9.4. I think ours is a 9.4 at 2,000. I want to say.
Jesus Christ.
Too rich for my blood.
Yes, dude.
Well, the porcupine.
But if you know it's just going to go up in value, that's a good investment if you can afford.
Oh yeah.
You
I just don't buy comics, so
it'll drop off after the show.
Yeah, I think it's going to drop off heavily. Like, because when are they going to use Man Thing again? Like, this is all FOMO buying, dude. All these are FOMO.
Well, that book has more cachet value than just the Man Thing.
Well,
it's the Savage
Conan
component, but is also, come on.
But didn't Marvel just get rid of their rights to Conan the Barbarian? So
they didn't
I don't think he's going to show up in a. Yeah, he's not.
That just makes all his Marvel stuff. The Marvel Conan Epic collections like immediately sold out, went out of print. They're running for like crazy prices now. The moment Marvel lost Conan went up.
Except
you're passing over Aaron's comments.
I don't know what she's talking about.
He was
deep throating this.
Oh. No, she said deep throating, and then she said except with Max and Lance. And then I can't believe you passed over my comment. I don't know what you're talking about, but all I know is I apparently missed Ish just fucking housing some hot dogs. So
I did too, man. It's my favorite part of the week is see what Ish is eating on a Friday night.
Man, life passes you by fast.
Then you have a sad fucking life if that's what you live for, is to watch a man eat a hot dog.
I'm just saying it's more entertaining than She-Hulk.
Oh, okay.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
He doesn't pay attention to when a man is putting things in their mouth, and she said, except Max and Lance. Okay.
Oh, I gotcha.
Got it.
No, actually, Max and I have.
You put each other in each other's mouths.
No. I got in a fight with him a couple years ago because he had just. He's gonna be pissed if I say that. He had just been diagnosed with diabetes, and it was when he was really overweight, and his wife wanted fucking Krispy Kreme donuts, and he got 2 boxes, and I watched him eat an entire box on the way home of Krispy Kreme donuts, and I fucking yelled at him. I know, we're like an old married couple.
Yeah,
it's an amazing story, Lance.
It wasn't meant to be like this fucking like
dude, it was riveting. I hope someone fucking adapts that into a screenplay. The Krispy Kreme
that could be the final episode of She-Hulk, for all we know.
Yeah,
she just eats a.
It's the only time I ever got mad at him.
She eats a box of donuts.
She just gets so depressed that her sex tape leaked that she just houses like gallons of Ben and Jerry's and like 4 dozen Krispy Kreme donuts.
How much you want to bet we spent this episode eating a gallon of ice cream?
How much you want to bet you need a better internet connection?
Is my internet fucking up?
Yes.
Oh,
your
yeah.
I'm looking worse at it right. Issues.
Connection.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, for once, I don't have the worst internet here.
We are having like major storms outside. I don't know if it's raining where you guys are at.
All right, Werewolf by Night.
Let me turn off my camera. That might
Thoughts on Werewolf by Night?
It's awesome.
Did you watch it, JP?
Yep.
I'll let you start then.
What's funny is I don't want to give anything away till we get till we go through a little bit further, but I forgot it was a Werewolf by Night until he was in the cage halfway through the show. Because I just thought it was a Bloodstone show now with Elsa and Ulysses and all that, and I totally forgot it was Werewolves by Night. I was like, who's this guy supposed to be? He's a monster. Whenever he grabbed the stone, and then I'm like, oh yeah, this is Werewolf by Night. And then that man thing was cool, and I thought
thing was fucking awesome.
He was the blood, how they did it. It was pretty graphic, but it wasn't. Mm-hmm. So I think they got some liberties by it being black and white, but it was still pretty graphic, I thought, for a Marvel show, Disney Plus show.
It was it was like Hershey syrup.
Yep. The syrup, but they were hitting people in the head. They cut off some, throat, it was just, it was graphic. I thought, not that I cared, but I was like, oh, this is cool. They didn't dull it down. They, it still looked pretty graphic. It still looked like it was violent. It was everything you want to be in a horror show around Halloween.
I wonder, I read a report a couple days ago that they were going to do more, like a lot of these shows that they were talking about. I don't think it's any that we've heard of yet, but they were going to do like these episodic type shows, and they're talking about doing them as special presentations now. And I think that potentially could be where it could potentially be a win for Marvel to do these special presentations, because you didn't have to add a bunch of filler shit into this. It was just like straight from the get-go story, beginning, middle, end. Like, it was captivating. It was beautifully shot, I thought.
It was great.
And you didn't have fucking, Werewolf by Night fucking twerking or some bullshit like that. Like, and Man-Thing just looked phenomenal, didn't he? Like, I thought
he didn't make sweet love to Man-Thing.
No. Man-Thing, what's crazy is Man-Thing looked so good, and then they had Werewolf by Night come on, and he looked so bad. He looked like Teen Wolf, Michael J. Fox.
Yeah, the face was okay, but the body was like, well, they could have done better with that. He looked like someone was wearing a suit.
Yeah, it honestly reminded me of Teen Wolf.
Yep.
And I just don't understand how they go from something that looked as great as Man-Thing did, even when it went to color at the end, looked as good as Man-Thing, and then had that be the werewolf. That's the one downside I felt in this whole show. But it reminded me when I was watching. My dad is not a Marvel fan whatsoever. Will not watch them. But I honestly, because I grew up watching Young Frankenstein and Bride of Frankenstein, all those black and white Halloween movies, and I was watching this, I was like, I think my dad would actually get into this. Like it reminded me of those old black and white monster movies,
Yeah, that you even had the O-ring show up in a couple of scenes, with the Flash. I thought they did it well. The way the credits started out was awesome. How they switched over from the Marvel credits to the black and white, and then the show itself looked like you were watching something from the 50s, like the whatever was it, the creature from the Black Lagoon coming on. It's pretty neat.
Cardi West, I understand what you're saying. It was practical, right? And I understand the point you're trying to make, but what I'm saying is Man-Thing was not. So why was it okay for Man-Thing to not be practical, but it wasn't okay for Werewolf by Night? Do you understand what I'm saying?
I think it's just because you saw the transformation. They wanted the transformation to be practical and all that to be a practical effects, kind of like they did in the old the old werewolf movies and stuff like that. So that's why that was
but it was all by shadows, the transformation. You
which
never
was
saw
cool,
it.
Which is how they would have done it in the old days in those movies too.
So why couldn't you just have that practical effect of him changing like that with the shadows and then have something that looked a little bit more realistic afterwards?
I thought he looked plenty realistic. He wasn't I thought he was the perfect combination of wolf and man. It wasn't like what we're used to seeing where it's just a werewolf on two legs. Like I thought it was a good combination of a wolf and man versus what we typically get when we typically see werewolves, and it's just a dude, like a human wolf essentially.
I think it was good, except the body part. I think he looked too bulky for the rest of him. Like his chest and his everything looked like he was a guy in a stuffed suit with hair.
Yeah,
like a gorilla suit. And then the head looked all right, the face looked all right, but I thought they could have done better with.
Go ahead, JP. Sorry.
No, they just could have done better with the middle part of the costume. It looked like something you'd buy for Halloween.
See, I wanted something more like this. Like
Man-Thing was not CGI. Man-Thing was completely practical.
No, I know. Or Man-Thing was CGI.
No, that was a dude in a suit.
Yeah, I think everything in this show was practical.
Yeah, there was no. Yeah,
he looked phenomenal.
That was the big thing with this, is that it was all practical shots.
Well, not really. I mean, because the Bloodstone, that was all CGI, and when he was melting people, when he was grabbing them, that was all CGI.
Talking like Man-Thing and the werewolf transformation. That was all.
I thought he looked beautiful.
I thought it was agree? CGI because it looked pretty good.
But I'm going
to see if I can find a picture of him. That was CGI, dude. That
maybe it was just me, but I feel like they didn't do. Do you feel like maybe they didn't do a good enough job of explaining why you should want this bloodstone and what the whole premise of the bloodstone is? Like, I think if you're a comic book reader, you understand it, but if you're somebody who's not familiar with Werewolf by Night, not familiar with this artifact, I felt like they didn't do a great job of explaining why all these people want that stone.
Wasn't that stone a kind of a big 80s Captain America arc? It was like a Bloodstone 4-issue.
I don't remember.
And one of them, I think the second one is like a first.
I know it was like a Marvel Presents. It was a Marvel Presents #1 is the first appearance of it.
See, I don't think this is I think that's CGI.
That could be non-CGI.
It's not. Look it up.
Oh, you found evidence of this?
Yes.
That's amazing. It looks really good. Well, good for them. It fooled me. I thought it looks.
That's probably
really
why
good.
It looks better than She-Hulk, because I was like, if this is CGI, why can they make this look good, but She-Hulk looks like ass?
It looks really fucking good. Like I remember when he came on screen, I said, "Wow, dude! If like I had to picture the embodiment of Man-Thing, this is exactly what I would picture. Like I thought it was fucking awesome.
The only
But
thing
this is all CGI right here.
Yeah,
that was
incinerating the chick
didn't Man-Thing at some time? What was the show? It was done by Peter Jackson, where he had the aliens that were refugees on Earth.
District 9.
District 9. Didn't he look
Well, that's
like
not Peter Jackson.
It wasn't Peter Jackson.
Produced by Peter Jackson. Yeah, it's a Neil.
Oh, was
Neil
it?
Blomkamp.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
I think it was produced.
Yeah, where they had
something to do with it.
They did the
like,
effects.
the giant roach people in South Africa.
Yeah.
Yep.
Fucking great movie.
Didn't Man-Thing look like those aliens for how he
Kinda,
talked?
yes.
With
Yeah, I get where you're going at.
But that was CGI, right? District 9?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Most part. I thought Man-Thing was CGI as well. It looked like it. Some scenes maybe sitting at the campfire in the morning after in color, but I thought the whole black and white was mostly CGI.
I think there's something to
I think
be
District
said.
9 is mocap, not CGI. It's mocap.
Well, they have like the Hulk is shot in mocap, but his body is later put on by CGI.
Yeah. So when you say like full CGI versus mocap, full CGI means they created the character from ground up, like no actor involved whatsoever.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
mocap.
I don't
An
think-
actor
I don't
is
think Marvel ever
completely
does that,
filmed
really.
in all the scenes, and then they CGI over it.
Yeah, because even
Which is
Rocket
like, I think, two
Raccoon-
kind of really distinct methods.
Yeah, I see where you're coming from. I think even Rocket Raccoon is Sean Gunn running around on the floor, isn't it?
Yep.
Well, I think that was just for blocking, for like camera reference.
He's wearing a mocap suit in the
Because
shots.
is he?
Mhm.
That dude's pretty tall.
Yeah, he's like literally crowd.
How do you-
Well,
how
the
do
same
you-
thing with Andy Serkis. When Andy Serkis does Schmeagol, he's in a mocap suit running. He won an award, I
And
think.
he's a
didn't
pretty
he?
small guy.
Yeah,
No,
yeah, but Sean Gunn, it was
showed
all
him, but-
mocap. I think Marvel's pretty practical
Okay.
in that. Like, I don't think they really create any characters from the ground up like that. I think it's all mocap, isn't it?
pretty much, yeah.
It'd be
See,
interesting.
I
to
thought
see how they
Rocket
do
was the one
MODOK.
exception, but
Yeah,
MODOK,
it's
'cause
Sean
even-
Gunn.
You know, the way they did Thanos, you know, that the actors totally like there, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
like
has
there's
a
a-
little stick on his head.
There's
Like,
a picture
stick coming out
going
his back.
around of like Dave Bautista with Rocket Raccoon and from I want to say it's Guardians 2 when he's petting him on the head, and literally like it shows him petting Rocket, and the next shot is the non CGI, so it's just the dude in the mocap, and Batista's like petting the dude's head.
Yeah.
So it's
Is he,
like, all
crouched
right,
or
that's
something.
yeah, it's like he's sitting right next to him, like crouched down. Like that's not awkward or nothing, just some dude petting your head. But
Yeah, here it is right here. Let me see. Present, share screen. Yeah, it's Sean Gunn, dude.
yeah, so he's just like
Looks
petting
happy.
his head.
Wow. Okay.
But that's not mocap. He's wearing a green screen suit.
Yeah, I was gonna. You know what? I was gonna say, and they just eliminate him and then put in a CGI Rocket, because Rocket would be standing, not sitting there with his legs sticking out.
I think it's more
Interesting.
just used as like a point of reference for when they get a CGI him in.
Because this isn't even mocap. Mocap is the one where
That's
they're
what I
in the
thought,
black
yeah.
suit with all the ping pong balls.
Yeah.
Correct. Yes.
I don't know, dude. I really liked it.
So I think
was-
Rocket might be completely CGI then.
possibly. So how did they do? Do we know how they do
And then-
Groot? Is
Groot.
Groot? It's obviously not Vin Diesel.
I'm gonna say Groot is completely CGI too. Yeah, and then just Vin Diesel and what's his name, Bradley Cooper just do voice work.
Yeah, there you go.
But something like Korg, you know, Korg is definitely mocap. Yeah, so yeah, Groot is CGI.
So they just use him. They just use this as like placement, like where to put your eyes and
Correct.
stuff. Oh yeah, I remember hearing this. It was James Gunn did all the dance moves for Baby Groot. This poor
All
guy
right.
and his knees.
But let's talk Andor. Lance wanted to touch on Andor. I'm not watching this show.
Did either of you guys watch it?
I've seen 2 episodes of it, 2 or 3.
First one
was
dive into it.
I've seen 3 episodes.
I was kind of hoping one of you guys could explain to me what the fuck is going on.
How many episodes are we in right now?
I think I just watched the 4th one.
4?
Because they dropped the first 3 episodes all at once, and then the 4th one just came out. Yes,
so you haven't seen
the first 3. I can't comment on the 4th.
So let's hold this for next week because I want somebody to explain it to me. Because I don't know what the fuck's going on. Ish, can you? I'm
kind of digging it so far.
I like it.
In the first 3 episodes, it's kind of, there has been a lot of criticism, and I kind of see it. You're kind of waiting for the story to start. Because it seems like they're tying up loose ends from stories that occur before the first episode of this. But I'm kind of digging the vibe of the show. I like the music, the look. Sometimes it feels more like, some parts felt more Blade Runner than Star Wars. And then when they're on the planet with the kids,
you're right,
it made me think of like Beyond Thunderdome. And then a droid comes back out, and I'm like, okay, now it's Star Warsy again. But I'm okay with it so far.
It definitely. This is what I was trying to tell Max. I was saying it feels less Star Wars than anything else I've watched because there's no lightsabers.
Yeah, this whole corporation business. All of a sudden, there's corporation and corporate security.
And are they supposed to be?
How does that work in an empire?
JP, what were you saying?
Are they supposed to be like the stormtrooper or something eventually, or what's their connection, the corporation to the empire? That's what I probably missed.
I think it's just a thing they're doing in the show. I think they're like literally like criticizing capitalism.
But I think they're running like the
some of the writer and stuff have hinted at that's their kind of stance on this show.
But all these corporations or like these little segments of the empire, they're running like the mining towns, right? Because isn't that what they were kind of talking about? Well, you guys haven't
that's
seen
what it sounds like,
that they're running the mining towns. Because in this latest episode, they were looking at this big valley, and the guy's like, "Oh, are you taking in the view?" And the guy goes, "Yeah, well, soon this is all going to be gone." They're talking about building a base there or something like that. So it almost seems like they're like the lower. Yeah, I really like it.
You said there's been 5 episodes.
Yeah, he's right, because I forgot last week. That's how forgettable this show is. It was 3 episodes dropped, and I forgot there was one last week and then this week. Like, I've gotten no interest in this show whatsoever. So I was like, whatever.
So Ish, can you try to watch? Can you try to catch up before next week's show?
I will.
Don't
so
do it.
So I can have somebody to talk, because I don't know what the hell.
I have to, because my shame the last 2 weeks, my shame has been the only show I'm caught up on is fucking She-Hulk.
So we don't have to talk Lord of the Rings.
I need to catch up on the other stuff. What?
We don't have to talk Lord of the Rings. So
no, I'm good on Lord of the Rings. Fucking.
Yeah, actually, I restarted Lord of the Rings 1, 2, 3. I think I just haven't seen the last episode that dropped.
Good.
Are you watching this, JP?
If nobody else wants to talk about it,
I gotta watch this one. I gotta watch Game of Thrones. What's the other one? House of the Dragon.
I love House of the Dragon.
I hear that one's better than Rings of Power.
Yeah, we don't have to talk about Rings.
That I'm going to fall behind on because my House of Dragon watching buddy is in Taiwan right now. So it's like 3 weeks from now we'll have to resume.
Is that all that came out?
Watch Fest of that.
That's all that came out?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
What? I mean, unless you want to talk about music, go ahead.
I'm not caught
up.
Or on
season 2 of the Mighty Ducks, Game Changers.
Oh, I'm caught up on that.
You have?
Yeah, that show's fucking awesome.
I haven't started it yet.
I want to know where I can buy a pucky. Oh, you haven't started it? You have no idea what I'm talking about then.
No,
the funny kid, the one that the podcaster, what's his name? Nick. He has this little fucking stuff. He has this little stuffed hockey puck that he carries around.
That's
and I'm like, dude, I want one of those.
House of Dragons.
JP, have you been liking Lord of the Rings?
No, I didn't watch that yet. I watched
I thought you said you had seen the first couple.
House of Dragon.
Okay. Are you liking House of Dragon?
Just said that was some scenes in Game of Thrones were rough, and I was expecting this one to be worse. So first episode started off with a couple
dudes
beating up the locals.
Yeah.
We'll say it.
I think I'm the only person on planet Earth not watching that show.
I want to get back into it, but
I'm not a Game of Thrones. I'm not a fan of that. I don't know how you would say it because it's not a real era, like Dragon.
Give House of the Dragon a chance because it's honestly a lot easier to watch than the Game of Thrones was.
But you don't think I need to see Game of Thrones to understand what?
No, because this is a prequel, so it's
no. That's how I'm doing it, Lance. I haven't seen
years
Game of
before
Thrones, so I'm watching House of Dragon first.
So
I'm just not
whatever took
the
place.
dragons and shit. Like I'm just not.
Neither was I. I didn't care for dragons and knights and stuff of that nature. And during COVID we watched Game of Thrones and we couldn't put it. We were up till 4 a.m. watching them. They were that enthralling to watch. I thought they were great. So I was hoping the same thing with House of the Dragon. It's just I haven't got the itch yet. Just like Andor. There's sometimes you're not into it until you're into it. So.
Matt will be happy to know one thing.
What's that?
I'm on episode 4 of Squid Games.
Nice, finally.
That show's fucking awesome.
I've only been telling you that for fucking months.
I just finished the episode where they go on a fucking killing spree in the fucking in the bunks.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that show's pretty cool, dude.
Are you watching it dubbed or sub?
I'm watching it dubbed, dude. I don't have the patience to fucking read all that.
Dude, the dub is so good.
It never matches. So I have the subtitles on during the dub, and the subtitles don't match with what they're saying.
No, but the dub is so bad that it's good.
Yeah, it's really good, and for being a show from South Korea, it's surprisingly like well produced. Like a lot of these shows you see from these other countries, I don't feel like match the level of production that American shows have. Maybe in Britain they do, not even then. But this show, like, it surprised me how well it's produced. Like even down to the soundtrack, like the music that's playing, like it's really well produced. Have you watched it, Ish, JP? Squid Games?
No. I think my daughter did, but I didn't.
It's pretty awesome, dude. Like if you're looking for, and it doesn't take a lot to like get into it. Like it's not really a head scratcher, I would say.
I've yet to watch.
Yeah, I'm too busy. Daredevil. I'm too busy watching She-Hulk. So
you get too far. You got a couple episodes into every show, and you're like, "Well, where am I at now? I can't remember what I just watched because I'm watching 6 shows, and you kind of got to finish one, in my opinion. But there's good stuff out there to watch and good stuff to follow up with. Just finding the time to not lose interest after a couple episodes because the next She-Hulk came out and you want to watch Leapfrog or watch the Walk of Fame, whatever it may be.
That's the one thing about doing a podcast like this every week. It's like, I'm like, I don't want to watch this shit, but I have to watch this shit because I know people are going to want to talk about it. So,
yeah, like Matt saying he's not going to go watch Black Adam. He's going to have to.
I'm not going to watch Black Adam.
Dude, you have to. We need to fucking talk about this shit.
I've got 2
I'll probably
people.
Go see it out of obligation. So
there you go.
I'll see it.
The other one that I'm watching right now that's fucking awesome, and my wife's not as into it as I am, is Reboot on Hulu. You guys watch that?
I've seen trailers for it, but I've not started watching it yet.
It's basically
I've seen the prequel to that.
Is it Keegan-Michael Key? Is that his name? From Key and Peele?
Yeah.
It's him, Johnny Knoxville, what's her name? Julie Greer, I think is her name. She's the redhead from Ant-Man. She's in other stuff too. And Paul Reiser. And yeah, she's Scott Lang's ex-wife.
Oh.
You know, I think it's Julie
Isn't
Greer.
she in Meet the Parents?
Yes, I think so.
Isn't that the
Paul
wife
Reiser's in it as well, and the chick from My Crazy Ex-Girlfriend. And basically, it's they're rebooting. They're doing like a gritty reboot of an old sitcom, like Step by Step or Full House, and it's behind the scenes of them shooting this reboot of this old sitcom, but more gritty, and it's hilarious. Johnny Knoxville, I love Johnny Knoxville. I'll watch anything with Johnny Knoxville. And it's cool to see him in a role that's not getting him kicked in the nuts every 5 seconds and thrown off a building. And
Oh,
everything
Judy
else.
Greer
Would you
was
watch
in,
porn with Johnny
Judy Greer.
Knoxville?
Arrested Development.
What'd you say?
Would you watch porn with Johnny Knoxville? You said you'd watch anything.
I probably
What if
watch
it was a
porn
porn
with Johnny
scene
Knoxville.
between Johnny Knoxville and Little Man?
Wee Man,
I
you
would,
mean?
Uncensored.
I would totally
you would
watch
have
a
to
porn
watch
with
it
Johnny
based on your
Knoxville
statement.
because you can't tell me with a man who's been beaten in the nuts that many times, you want to see if his
shit's
fucking
deformed.
Yes, exactly. You want to
If it
see if his
still
Quig and
works.
Giggleberries are all fucked up or not. Like,
Like if he has a nut with a dent in it.
yeah, you're like, damn, that thing looks like it got put through a meat grinder, or you know, especially when he's doing the cup stuff and he's like just taking shots to the nuts. It's like, come on, man, you just want to know. Like,
Probably ejaculates like glass shards that he ate 5 years ago.
it's probably painful when he does.
Worked his way
dude.
through his body.
Dude, Matt, I think you would really like that show. It's really funny and it's like I like it a lot. And then did you watch Super Bro yet, Matt?
Dude, I can't watch that shit. That's terrible.
It is terrible, but it's hysterical.
I don't know. I didn't think it's funny at all, man.
It's terrible, but
Australia-
it's hysterical.
It's like terribly produced.
So-
Like I don't know how to describe it. Like it's just
So
really
you laugh at how bad it is? That's how it's hysterical.
Listen, I already got so much shit on my plate. I need She-Hulk to end before I could start anything else. All right, like
Yeah, one more episode, then you can.
yeah, that I can turn my attention to something else.
Black
But
Adam.
I don't know how to
Not
describe
Black Adam.
that show.
Andor.
I don't know
Not
how to
Andor
describe that
either.
show. Ish. It's like it's so I don't want to say it's bad, but I don't know. It's Australia's #1 watch show. It's produced
That
in
explains
Australia.
it right there.
And it's two guys that play pretty much every role in the show. I don't know. It's just really funny. Like, and it's really easy to watch. It's like 6 episodes each season, 2 seasons.
If
Like-
you guys ever watched Mrs. Brown, look it up on YouTube. Mrs. Brown. It's filmed in Ireland, and it's one guy. There's a bunch of actors in it, but one guy plays the mom and another role in it. But it is hilarious. I don't know if they make any more of them, but it's it's an overseas show. But I haven't laughed so hard at a comedy in a long time. It's called
One of the
Mrs.
things
Brown.
with this new streaming age is that you get to watch a lot of shows that otherwise we probably wouldn't have never had access to, like Letterkenny being one of those shows. Like now
I think
Hulu's
I've seen this show. It was on the BBC, wasn't it? Isn't it?
Yeah,
isn't it
Mrs.
British?
Brown's Boys.
last
Yeah.
episode was January 1st, 2019, season 5.
Doesn't she like? Doesn't he
Mrs.
like
Brown's Boys.
stick a phone in her like pants and shit? Like,
There's an episode where she eats something and has to use the restroom, and it's quite hilarious. And another episode where she uses what she thinks is a smelly spray on her nether regions, and it's actually a spray glue.
no.
So it's just it's hilarious. It is hilarious.
Mrs. Brown's eye.
That sounds like a porn to me, Rich. You better be careful there.
Yeah, if you look up the scene with Mrs. Brown and the glue, and at least watch that one, you'll die laughing. It was hilarious.
Anything that has "I" after the word "brown," I'd be very skeptical of, Rich. Just saying.
You wouldn't watch
Brown
Mrs.
Eye, yeah.
Brown's eye?
I do not want to watch Mrs. Brown's Eye.
Well, you just watched 6 episodes of She-Hulk's Brown Eye, pooping on your face.
I never saw her brown eye, thankfully. It
pooping
would probably be
bad
green, wouldn't
content,
it?
bad Marvel content onto your face.
Well, I'm just saying, all over your face, neck, and chest, right? All right, Ish, you spamming this Bond stuff. So since you don't have a Trek
Yes.
segment, you want to talk Bond?
Well, it was October 5th, so 2 days ago was legit the premiere of the movie Dr. No. So it was 60 years ago. Spawned the greatest movie series of all time, 26 movies of the same character. No other series has ever achieved that. We should watch this with sound because it's super badass.
I don't want to get copyright striked.
No.
No.
Well, this whole thing is
So-
edited to the Paul McCartney Live and Let Die song.
Yeah, I definitely don't want to get copyright striked for Bond.
Very cool.
Sorry, Ish.
JP, how do you feel about James Bond?
I've seen most of the 80s and 90s shows, and probably maybe one or two recent ones. I wasn't a huge fan, but I wouldn't not watch it. There's no other reason than just wasn't my favorite, but I always thought they were good movies and I watched them.
Yeah, I mean, I guess as some of the people here know, I'm crazy about James Bond. I'm doing my second reread of all the Ian Fleming novels. I've seen the movies I don't know how many times, and I'll just keep watching them over and over again. I mean, this shit's been around for 60 years. There's a reason why. It's a worldwide phenomenon.
Are we talking about Bond?
We are.
Sorry, I had to run to the restroom, dude. I couldn't hold it 1 second longer.
This link, I sent this link to Matt, and if you actually watch it with the sound and the song, it's a really good fucking montage. This is the one they played at the Oscars.
For me, watching Bond is like watching Godfather. It's a good show, but it takes a long time for the older movies to really catch on. It's a lot of dialogue and less action. New ones are, filled with action, and
they're made for our generation.
Yep. And the 80s and 90s ones were good too. But they just got more like Mission Impossible, in my opinion, even though he predates that. But still.
Well, it's like the Bond movies. It's like a history of action movies. So the first 10 years of Bond, which is like the first 6 years, they literally set the standard. Every action movie that came out tried to copy the latest Bond movie. But as we moved into the 70s, then we started seeing kind of the reverse, where Bond set the standard of how an action movie is made, and then now began to reflect the movies of its time, the way like Live and Let Die is kind of a blaxploitation film. Moonraker, they go into space because we had the Star Trek movie and we had Star Wars. And then you see in the 80s, it's a different kind of, the bigger set pieces and bringing in the big actors. And then the 90s, Pierce Brosnan, James Bond started reflecting how action movies were made in the 90s, and then so on and so forth with Daniel Craig. And then it's kind of like the Bourne movies. The last one, No Time to
More
Die,
gritty.
Felt like a John Wick movie. So it's literally like a history book of action movies of how they've progressed through 6 decades.
It's amazing.
But it all started with Dr. No, and at those times, for those people like Goldfinger, Thunderball, that was like the most action-filled movie those people ever saw on the big screen. Thunderball had the first underwater action scenes, and it's still, adjusted for inflation, it's still one of the most viewed theatrical movies of all time.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. Like how it's been able to last. I mean, even the last movie, I know Ish wasn't a huge fan of the last one, right, Ish?
No.
Even the last one, I mean, everybody was going to see it. Like they still have that draw to the cinema,
Absolutely, especially worldwide. I mean, and a lot of it is like country, like obviously in the UK. The UK, at any given day in the UK, there's a movie theater playing a James Bond movie. But then you go out kind of like the British Empire, so like Canada, India, countries like that. James Bond is fucking crazy, massively popular.
Mm-hmm. I can't wait to see how they reboot it.
Yeah, I hope they pick, as far as the casting, I hope they go young. Because I don't want to have another scenario where you're only like 4 or 5 movies in, just kind of getting started into all the good stories, and the dude's already like pushing 60, and we got to switch him out.
Yeah.
So I hope they start really young with someone who can bust out. I mean, Roger Moore did 7 movies, so I think the next person, their goal should be to do 8 Bond movies.
Daniel
Their
Craig
goal
did
should
how
be
many?
not 4? To do a Bond movie at all.
Daniel Craig did 4 or 5?
He did 5. He did 5. Roger Moore did 7. Sean Connery did 6.
Brosnan did what, 2?
Then
3.
Brosnan did 4.
3?
Timothy Dalton did 2. He did 4, yeah. And then the one with George Lazenby.
That was just the one, right? But that was a totally different studio, right? Wasn't that a totally different studio, that one?
No, you're thinking of Never Say Never Again, which starred Sean Connery. And that was from a totally different studio. And that was a modern remake of Thunderball. The George Lazenby one was definitely in continuity.
I only remember
that's the one where his wife gets murdered.
Well, they had Die Another Day, right? GoldenEye.
Yes, that's
right. GoldenEye,
Goldeneye World
the-
is not enough. Tomorrow Never Dies and Die Another Day.
Correct.
Fucking Bond.
Did you guys see my shirt that came in the mail that I drew?
Put your man tits a little closer to your camera there, Lance. Yeah.
You guys like that?
Speaking of James Bond,
That's pretty sweet.
It's a Green
Lantern.
Lantern.
so Joel's Dueling asked a good question for a Bond fanatic. For me, that's a good question. Barbara Broccoli, the Broccoli family has been making these Bond movies since the very first one, Dr. No. It's been everything about James Bond is in-house. It wasn't until the Brosnan movies where they actually went to Hollywood directors and said, come direct a Bond movie. Up until then, it was everybody. You had to have already worked on a Bond movie to direct a Bond movie. So everything was in-house, run by the Broccolis. And Barbara Broccoli is, she's getting pretty old. And the other producer, Michael G. Wilson, who's her husband, he's getting old. So it's like, once they're gone, who does this torch go to? Because it has been this family affair. Now that Amazon has bought MGM, it could be a thing where Bond, the ownership of the IP and how the movies are made might end up going corporate rather than staying with the same production, family it's always been around. So
Right.
Zaggy, we're just trying to give you a whole show, man.
It's been a show, huh, Zaggy? Like,
I'm trying to give you a whole show, buddy. She's only in her 60s? And she's been around since Dr. No?
Well, no, it was her dad, Cubby Broccoli.
Okay.
So actually on Dr. No, she was a little girl on the set of Dr. No, but now she's like literally taken over the family business. I think since like the Brosnan movies.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and she's the one that said it's going to be a while before we get the next movie. Like it ain't happening in the next couple of years. Which is crazy because Bond movies used to be like clockwork. At first, the Connery movies were one every year. Every year you got a James Bond movie. And then for like 3 decades, it was every 2 years. That was a beautiful thing. You only had to go one summer without a Bond movie. Now it's like, fuck. Now it's like 5-6 years in between. And the actors like,
dragging his feet all the time.
by the time they make it.
I think Chuck Norris should be the next Bond.
No, Matt. Oh, boy.
You should only get a Bond movie once a decade.
Matt, why
that's
are you
crazy,
such a hater,
Matt.
dude?
You're talking crazy.
They can give you no. They can give you Mission Impossible.
You know who
They'll
I
give you
do
Mission Impossible as like your appetizer, and then you get a Bond movie every 10 years.
There wouldn't be Mission Impossible without James Bond.
I know, but
There
I'm
wouldn't
just
be
saying.
any of Fast and Furious. None of those movies would exist without James Bond.
I think Marvel should take a note out of the James Bond handbook and maybe not release so much shit. Maybe we get better shit.
Yeah.
They're pushing out too much. All right, buddy. Anything else?
No, that's it for me.
There was no Star Trek news that happened?
Nope. Ish didn't get a segment this week. Well, yeah, he did. He got Bond.
And he got hot dogs.
Matt acquiesced.
Which no one saw.
I kept like, we need to headline with Bond, and Matt was like, nah. And then Lance was like,
I said no too.
You guys are
I'm okay
Philistines.
talking about it for a couple minutes. Like I like Bond as much as the next guy, but a whole show. Shit,
I could go on for dude. We could do hours of like ranking the Bond movies, ranking the villains, ranking the women, ranking the gadgets, ranking.
You
the
should
actors.
just start a Bond show. You should just start a Bond show on the Absolute Geek Network. Just a Bond show.
Every Bond movie would be in the trash for me, except Octopussy, because the name Pussy's in the title.
Matt, how do you even make it through life with this attitude?
He hates everything. I'm not gonna go see Black Adam.
I'm not.
Fuck Andor. Fuck this. Fuck that.
Hey, man.
But She-Hulk, thumbs up.
Big 2 thumbs up.
Oh, that show is trash. Daredevil was cool though.
Yep, they say
it's just like one episode doesn't save the show. It's like
no, I agree.
You have 10 interactions with someone, and 8 times they punch you in the face. 1 time they kick you in the nuts, and then the last time they shake your hand, and then because of their handshake, you're like, it was all amazing.
No, the show's trash. But Daredevil was cool. It was cool seeing Daredevil again.
At least made you interested in the last episode to see how it's going to finish out. Because I have had no clue. I've had an inkling of something, but it could have gone. I wouldn't have cared, but now I care.
I think it's going to be a Red Hulk tease.
I hope.
Harrison Ford in the last scene.
I don't think so.
They've been saying.
I know
Harrison
they have,
Ford.
but I don't think
it's gonna be Harrison Ford as
show the leader.
Mephisto.
He'll be the leader.
Okay.
Yeah, it probably will be the leader.
Yeah, because the leader's already been said he's going to be in what movie?
Captain America.
Captain America on New World Order.
This could be the lead-in for that. All right.
I just see your mom's been raging in the comments about Bond.
I know.
Yeah.
I stopped paying attention to her.
She's.
That's why I'm with you,
Stand
Mom.
by your man.
She's just trying to defend you. I really don't think she's that crazy about Bond.
No, she actually is. Not
She
like
makes you dress up like
My
Sean
wife
Connery.
doesn't like
huh?
anything I like.
Excuse me, who picked your child's name?
That's true. She named our child's middle name Felix after Felix Leiter. So, yeah. I guess there's no arguing.
You were dressed as Sean Connery the night Attila was conceived, weren't you, Ish?
And you know what? Just because
Chicken
I look
hot
like
nose.
Sean Connery, it was like instant conception. You just gave that Sean Connery wink and like fucking that baby was there. Boom.
That's Ish's superhero name, the Impregnator.
Yeah.
That's his
Mr.
catchphrase.
Impregnator.
How do you want this, shaken or stirred?
But when I left in the morning, I was all Timothy Dalton.
At least you weren't George Lazenby.
There you go.
Hey, we should
Fucking
speculate
nerd,
on the first.
dude.
We should speculate on the first issue of the Impregnator.
Oh my god. They literally just had an entire fucking sex conversation with Bond characters.
I think that's a good
What other
cue.
show do you get that on, man?
That's a cue.
I could do this all day.
All right, Steve Rogers.
You're right.
Yeah,
All right.
exactly.
Well, I think that's a good place to end this show because you can't get much better than that.
But
You know? So watch out, people, because Ish is out there banging your mom dressed as Sean Connery. So
I'm
The
coming after
Impregnator.
your mom
yeah,
wearing Sean Connery's beach
Coming to a
clothes.
theater near you.
yeah, a bedroom near you.
Shorty short terry cloth, baby.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I'm gonna do one last plug for Old Man Con 5, aka Scottsdale Comic Con, November 19th, Old Town Scottsdale. Details on our website.
I'll try to run down there. Just one day, right?
AKA 95%.
Yeah, just Saturday.
You were priced out of this con.
It's not.
I'll run
That's
down there just to see
being-
Ish.
Yeah, if you're looking at for like an AF-15 or something, it's going to cost you a pretty penny. But there's going to be long boxes of stuff, and could be some gap fillers for your run, or just books you've been looking for.
If I was
Ish and
closer,
still
I'd be
have
there.
Yeah, right. That's a bit of a trek for you, buddy.
Yep.
Ish and I still have not.
You
met
would
in
like it,
person.
JP, because it's at a Legion post, and the setup is there's a full bar. They serve food, so burgers, whatever, but cocktails, beer, and then 2 steps over, and you're in a whole vendor room full of comic books.
Oh, nice.
So it's
Yeah, I wish
pretty.
they
It's a
had that around
pretty
here.
chill. It's a pretty chill event. No Hollywood BS, just comic books. That's why they call it
Yep.
Old Man Con. Just a bunch of old men selling old comics.
Hey
Oh,
man,
just
if
a-
I
it's
don't
just
end up going, you need to film it like you do your Ish's new reads.
Yes, super up close and shaky.
Hey, it's not. Isn't that shaky?
No, I don't
Well,
think
it's hard
so.
to film when you got a beer in one hand and the camera in the other hand. You can't really look
And
through
the more
comments.
beer, the shakier it gets. We'll just get you a steady
I
cam.
got to work on my shakiness.
There was one. I'll be honest. There's one where it was real shaky, and I was like, "Fuck, I'm getting motion sickness just editing this video." You're like, all
That may
over
have been the
place.
one when I was like, I had full on flu symptoms and still trying to make the videos.
He's like, and
Take it one for the team.
a new Superman.
But all right. Well, I hope you guys had a good show. Thank you everyone in the chat. As always, Joe's Doolin, Leftover Zaggy, your mom, Aaron, Cardi West, Patrick, Eric Williamson, everyone just, as always, chat is fire stuff. Make sure to check out Old Man Con. Make sure to check out Ish's videos through the week on new comics coming out. Make sure to check out last week's episode of Saturday Night Special where we did an interview with Chris Tex, the creator of Samurai Doggy, which was really, really good. And thank JP for joining us tonight. Did you have fun, JP? Was it everything you thought it was going to be?
Yeah, it was awesome. I appreciate you guys bringing me on. So
yeah, you did great, man. You did great.
Well, thanks. Appreciate it.
He's like, I'm never coming back to this shit again.
We got to start earlier, that's all. But hey, it's Friday night. What do we nerds do on Friday night?
Yeah, talking about eating hot dogs and having sex as James Bond.
Double fisting hot dogs. We went as far as double fisting hot dogs. Oh my gosh, dude.
But
it's quality content.
Fuck yeah.
Compared to She-Hulk,
Lord knows we're not spending time with our wives on a Friday night.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, thanks for having me.
Time with your mom.
Get ready, Mom. Sean Connery is coming home.
Yes.
He's on his way. He's double fisting hot dogs, but he's on his way. But all right. Well, I thank everyone again. It's been a great episode, and we'll see you guys hopefully tomorrow night over on SNS. Otherwise, we'll see you guys next time.
All you freaks and geeks,
come all you freaks and geeks, let's listen to Absolute Geek.
Absolute Geek.
We'll go ahead and spread our cheeks,
Spread the cheeks,
and drink
And
some
we're for
Cosby wine.
We'll
Come
drink
on,
some
Absolute
Cosby wine. It makes me feel real fine. See you next time.